This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
Hold on to your hats. We are on the grid. Who is going to be king of the late breakers? Excellent onboard shot. Michael Spiedel is throwing absolutely everything at this, including the kitchen sink. Look at this. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Disaster strikes.
Unglaublich.
Wow, qué pelea.
I'm loving this.
Take your hat off and give him a bow. He's already in the lead and now he can sail off into the sunset.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Hello everyone, really sorry I can't be with you this weekend because still travelling from the USA back to Europe. However, whether you are a Racer League driver or a Challenger League driver, I just wanted to check in and wish you the best of luck for racing this weekend. And my buddy Matthew Duffin, he's going to be calling all the action. Be good.
Good morning everybody then, and welcome to Racing Unleashed, where we go beyond the pinnacle here for 2022. And as we did yesterday, let's kick off with our thoughts and hope that Sebastian Hirsch gets well and has a speedy recovery. As you can see, all our drivers and representatives there in Munich to give Sebastian a big wave and obviously to make sure that he gets a speedy recovery and gets back into that Munich Racing Lounge as soon as possible. There we are as well in all our racing lounges there in Calm. The drivers there looking a little more relaxed in that one, as I think they've now just realised they're on the telly. There we are in Zurich as well, for everybody to give us a wave, and Sebastian Hirsch, obviously all the support from every racing lounge we have here at Racing Unleashed is fully behind him, and hopes he gets back in the cockpit soon. And here we are in Kempthal as well, for the drivers to wish Sebastian a very, very speedy recovery then. And for all these drivers, they've got a massive task on their hands today, because they've got a monumental race around one of the world's best race circuits. But there we are once again. To Sebastian Hirsch, wish you a speedy recovery and hope to you on the track very, very soon then. So good morning, hope you're all well, hope you enjoyed yesterday's action in the Challenger League, Racer League. Today though, I'm Matthew Duffin and I'll be bringing you all the action as well as much more throughout today's programme. Right now though, we're going to hear from a JWW on our track explanation and see if you can spot a few mistakes. I don't think we've got that ready for you at the moment.
Welcome back and welcome to Spa Racing Circuit in Belgium. This is without doubt one of the most famous circuits in the world and one of the drivers' favourites. Now, at just over 7 kilometres long, there is a lot for these guys to deal with. Of course, it's iconic for one of the most notorious sets of corners in all of racing, Radion transitioning into Eau Rouge. This is a blind crest, flat out, and it's a real challenge for these guys. Now in this race, it's going to be about endurance. As I mentioned, it's just over 7 kilometers, but it's also winding its way through some incredibly beautiful scenery. Gorgeous woodlands, undulations, dips, high speed. It's all about the balance of these cars. There's some incredibly fast flowing corners, so these guys are going to be flat out for a good proportion of the lap, with some certain spots having some really heavy braking points. So stay tuned, it's going to get really intense and importantly, really fast.
Thank you, Mr. JWW there, and I think you've been driving the track backwards, my friend, because it's Eau Rouge into Radion. But nonetheless, these drivers, I've got a massive task ahead of them today. What a show they should be putting on for us today, and a possibility of crowning a champion here at Racing Unleashed. Michael Spiedel could be the man to do the job later on this afternoon. We're going to take a look shortly, though, at the what happened in the Race League last time out at Silverstone, where there was some frantic action. Oh, summer sale. Sorry, I do apologise. We do have a summer sale offer for you guys to take a look at. And here in Switzerland, then, at both our lounges in Kemptthal and in Zurich, there is a 20% discount for every event across the board until the 11th of September. 20% off here in Kemptthal and in Zurich. If you are in the Munich Racing Lounge, every Wednesday, 50% off every ride, I do believe, in the Munich lounges, and in Madrid until the end of August. You can have a full race experience in our simulators for €70, or a 15-minute ride in our simulators for €15 there. And you do not want to miss up on these opportunities to get in our fantastic simulators and the cockpits and get the real feel and a real experience of what it is like to be a Racing Unleashed driver here then. Fantastic experiences and a great opportunity to add, so make sure you check out them summer sales if you're in Munich, Madrid, Kemptthal or in Zurich then. So like we say, we've got the Silverstone Racer League highlights recap coming up from you from last time out. That will be with you in just a little moment, as well as the gear up session, knockout qualifying and the race later on, as well as much more from our fit and fast participants as well. Let's take a look at what happened at Silverstone.
When the lights are extinguished, we will be away and racing. Oh, and someone jumps to start straight away. That was from P2, I'm sure. And that means that will be picked up immediately by race control, just trying to anticipate the lights. And unfortunately, a jump start for Sebastian Hirsch. Christoph Holstein's up to P2 and Jesus Cecilia down to P3, going for another quest on this lap. To move from P4 to P3. He sets the fastest lap in so doing, a 1:31.517 as he goes around the outside now. That move did not work, but what he's trying to do is unsettle Cecilia, who makes his debut in Racing Unleashed this weekend. And so, dare I say it, Smeedle is something of an old hand in Racing Unleashed. And here we can see as he dives, gets the draft off the Cecilia car. And but it is around the outside again, but that would give him the inside for the next turn if he was able to stay with him. There's a little touch, and Smeedle does go through to pick up P3. And here is Enrique Marino that we go on board with now, who's running in P5. And there you could see Jesus Cecilia running wide, and that playing into the hands of Enrique Marino, who picks up P4 now. This is Ivan Kaufman with Yannick Vonnenberg ahead. And Yannick doing a bit of weaving there to try and break the toe afforded to Ivan Kaufman. Kaufman now to the outside, but Yannick Vonnenberg with the inside line. But of course, that does become the outside for the next turn. So they remain side by side until Ivan Kaufman is able to put himself ahead of Yannick Vonnenberg. And Michael Smeedle still trying to reel in Wojciech Polesny, and he is getting a little bit closer now. So here is Smeedle, and ahead of him is the all-red car of Wojciech Polesny, who slows, and Smeedle goes through. I would suggest that that might be a nice drink waiting for Wojciech Polesny in due course, because Smeedle didn't have to work too hard to get past Wojciech Polesny there. And Enrique Marino absolutely determined to fill the rear-view mirrors of Wojciech Polesny with that all-yellow racing car of his, made in Maranello. There's only one driver really focusing on taking that P1 place away, and that is Michael Smeedle, who over the last few laps really has increased his speed and his pace, as Fabian Vettel told us. And there is a mistake from Christoph Holstein. That plays nicely into the hands of Michael Smeedle. Do you know what? Michael didn't even need to get so close to him, because the pressure was coming, and Michael Smeedle didn't really need to overtake, because Christoph Holstein bowed to the pressure of the masterful Michael Smeedle behind him, and now we have a new race leader. Smeedle will cross the timing line with in excess of 5 seconds to the good, and wins at Silverstone. A brilliant drive from Michael Smeedle, and here we can see, going to step 3 on the podium is one Mr. Wojciech Polesny, who receives his trophy in the lounge in Munich. Well done, Wojciech. A fine P3 for you. Here taking P2 is Christoph Holstein. And thanks for the wave. Thanks for the thumbs up, Christoph. And many congratulations to you. P2 for Christoph Holstein then. And Michael Smeedle then on the top step of the podium. Many congratulations. Our race winner from, what's the silly pose for, Wojciech? From Silverstone. Confirmed results from Silverstone with Smeedle, Holstein and Polesny on the podium. Angelo Michel took P7 and Devin Isgro taking P9. Those 10, of course, are in the points. And then a big well done to Sebastian Hirsch, who you may recall jumped the start but ended up finishing in P14.
So that's what happened last time out at Silverstone, and here are the current rankings for the Racer League. Mikko Smeedle can take the championship today. He has such a commanding lead over Alejandro Sanchez in P2. He, though, has to watch behind him because Angelo Michel is only 2 points off the back, as is Christoph Holstein in P4. P5 is Enrique Marino with Wojciech Polesny in 6th place. 7th is Javier Loro on 41 points. A big jump then down to Mark Gasner on 24 points in 8th. 22 points for Loris Mistretta in 9th. And Dominic Dedic rounding out the top 10 on 21 points. Second half of the table looks like this. Florian Harsten on 20 points with Coque Lopez in 12th place. David Ladomada in 13th on 16 points. Lorenzo Hayder on in 14th place with them 15 points. Jan Tufin 12 points to his name. Fabio Vettiger on 11. And then towards the bottom half, Sebastian Hirsch on 9. Jesus Silica on 8. Ivan Kufman on 6. And Devin Isgro on 6 as well, rounding out the top 20. And the bottom half of the table you see there, Kevin Abai on 3 and Roger Mart on 1. And the rest of the drivers there not yet to score. So that then is your rankings for the Racer League at the moment as from Silverstone. And this now then is the gear up session here for Spa-Francorchamps, the 7 kilometre circuit. So I am told anyway, the 7 kilometre circuit here in the Ardennes Forest, the Ardennes roller coaster as it's known, and a practice session for these guys to warm up and get to grips with the simulators and the cars for today. You just see the drivers getting the feel and just getting to grips with the track this morning. They won't have driven a lap until since the last time they would have practiced. They've not been in the cockpits this morning at all. Debriefs and stretching, preparation, warming up. And now it's the first chance to get a turn of the wheel, and keep your eyes on that purple and blue Racing Unleashed livery of Mikkel Smeedle there then, as he looks to be crowned champion later on today. This man will hope to try and maybe stay with Mikkel Smeedle and try and keep it interesting, but he'll also be looking to take P2 in the championship, because obviously a lot of prize money to be won for first and second, as well as third in the season, as well as all the races. So every position in the championship for the top 10 is vital. This man is the guy that wants to keep tabs on Smeedle at the front, and look how focused and determined he is there in our racing lounge in Madrid to make sure that he nails every apex and gets every corner spot on. Needs to make sure he is the quickest man out there today. Obviously we won't know who the quickest is overall, because the knockout qualifying procedure, which is like a sprint race coming up shortly, in it after yesterday's excitement, it was fantastic. He is a man who, so I was told, wasn't expecting to win at Silverstone, and absolutely dominated, drove a fantastic race. And you saw in the clips a moment ago that the presence of Smeedle can just sometimes put a few drivers off. And is that going to be the case today? 7 kilometres is a very long lap here, and this man could scare a few people in the knockout session and in the race itself. It's that presence of seeing him behind you and knowing that Smeedle is there that can sometimes just put you off, as look at him nail the final chicane there then. Holstein coming into the middle sector, and once again Christoph Holstein, he'll be looking for a fantastic fuel up. Bit of a wiggle there, keeps hold of it nicely though, and another man determined in his quest. He obviously made that mistake that allowed Smeedle through at Silverstone, so he'll want to correct his error today and maybe get that chance to take the win and the P1 in our lounge at Zurich. Enrique Marino then through he comes, and back down the hill he comes now, and we'll bring you as well, we will get you as well just after the gear up session a list of what the standing order will be, the grid order will be for the knockout session. Wojciech Polesny then on the podium at Silverstone. He'll be looking for back-to-back podiums as he comes up Eau Rouge and Radion. And another man fully focused and fully determined, knows what he's got to do today if he wants to climb up them standings as well. Javier Loro just sweeping through the right and left section, use the runoff back across the left hand side of the circuit. A bit of a wiggle there, but managed to keep it all under control. This back part of the circuit flat out throughout the whole entire part until you come up to the chicane at the very end, and it's when you hit that chicane that you then really have to hit the brakes hard, and that's where these drivers in our cockpits today will really feel the effects, especially at this chicane and at turn 1. The full effect of slamming onto the brake very, very hard to make sure you get that car stopped and turned in. And this run out of the final chicane and out of turn 1 is very, very crucial, because they are such a slow corner. You do not want to get it wrong. You want as good a run down towards turn 1 and down towards El Rouge as possible then. As here is Loris Mastretti. You just see them seatbelts tightening up on his torso there, as he really has a heavy braking zone. But all these drivers, after going through our fit and fast videos and exercises, will be as fit and fast and as ready to go for this weekend. And again, look, you see the seat belts there just really tighten with the G-force pulling him into his seat there then. So 3 minutes 23 seconds left of the session. We have our first classified time on the board, and I believe it was Angelo Michel as well who set the fastest lap at the moment. Here's at Florian Haas in Munich, and into Les Combes he comes now. And just look how steady and smooth it all is, and how calm it all is at the moment. But obviously this is only gear up. It could be a lot more frantic in a few moments time when we get into the knockout qualifying session. David Ladomada then just starts a lap time. And I don't know if these drivers are taking a few track limits here, but we still only have the one lap time recorded at the moment. And here is David Ladomada here in Kemptol, close to the pit wall on the right, and up El Rouge, flat scat you go. Yeah, not a lift up there, brave man. Will he be able to do that behind a couple of other cars in the race session? If he was watching yesterday's racing, he may have seen that it might be better to have a little lift halfway up El Rouge if you're behind a couple of cars. A bit of a wiggle there for Devin Eastgrow. He got all over the curb, manages to hold on to that though, and 2 minutes 20 left of this gear up session now, and still only Angelo Michel with a lap time on the board. So drivers pushing the limits as Enrique Marino now gets a lap time on the board and goes some 0.4 of a second quicker. Here is Devin Eastgrow in Kemptol as well, and here he comes towards that chicane at the very, very end. As Tufen then comes through the chicane, and a 47.2 he's got to beat. A few times starting to appear now. 0.9 of a second separating the top 4. As Tufen then through La Source, down the short straight towards El Rouge. And again, flat out, no lift in there. All the way through El Rouge Radion, now onto the Camel Straight, into 8th gear he goes, and this is where we saw yesterday in the Challenger League that a good slipstream and you are topping out sort of halfway down the Camel Straight, and it gives that car an advantage who's not yet reached maximum speed to come back at yourself down that Camel Straight before you get to the Lecombes braking zone. And as well, as we saw yesterday, you've got to be on the right side of the driver, or you've got to be a brave man to go around the outside. Smeedle then still not yet put a lap time on the board. Here is Kevin Abi, currently the slowest driver to have set a lap time, and they win it at the minute, 1.9 seconds off the bike. But it's 8th place, and it's 8th place out of 20 drivers at the moment, so it's points finish for him if it was to be that way in the race a little later on. And for Kevin, once again, just nice and relaxed. Yannick Vonnenberg then yet to set a time as well. Oh, big snap, and holds on to it very well there, does Yannick, and that'd have been a scary moment for him. But he hung on well. And now flat out through this last part of the track. Lars Bulmer then, just feeling the benefits of that slipstream from the car in front. And a lot of drivers just taking a lot of run off, a lot of curb, and it seems to just be snapping the car. As here's Fabio Vertiger, who was side by side there with another driver coming into the final chicane. We now have 9 drivers on the board with a classified time. We now have 10 as Mastretti gets on the board. And here is Vertiger then in Zurich. And now let's see if he has a lift up Eau Rouge here then, because we saw yesterday that the slipstream up here in Radion was absolutely crazy. No lift for him, but he would have gained some immense time up over the top of Eau Rouge and Radion, as Holstein now improves his time into P4. And here is Ivan Kaufman in calm. You just see his eyes fixated on the apex of the corner as he just ran a little wide there, was lucky not to dip a wheel into the gravel trap on the outside of the runoff there then. As the session comes to an end, and Enrique Marino is the quickest driver on the track at the moment, but a lap time means nothing here in the free practice session, because Gear Up is all about a smaller race pace than what you will be doing in the race a little later on. But this man can take positives, and he's got good pace in the car, and if he can see his lap times and he sees that they're consistent, then I'm sure he can take away something of a positive for that one then. So the knockout session coming up in a little moment's time, as the drivers will now just take a quick drink and a little breather and prepare themselves for that qualifying session then. Great Gear Up session there. Not everybody able to set a time, so we didn't get to see everybody's pace in terms of that championship leader as well. Schmiedel not being able to show us what pace he can do, but I'm sure he'll be right there on the ball with it as well. So knockout coming up a little later on in the race then this afternoon, and a chance for Schmiedel to really take a dominant effect here, and a win today would guarantee him the championship in the bag. Anything other than that and it will go to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya next time around. But for Schmiedel here, he might want to get the job done today, but with that points advantage he has, he's got a lot in the bank if he does have a bad race or two. So Gear Up then finished there. Let's go and take a look at the track preview of Spa. So here we come then, Spa-Francorchamps, the Ardennes roller coaster it's known as in the Ardennes Forest. 7 kilometres long, 10 left-handers, 9 right-handers. And it's 250 metres from the start to turn 1, 100 metres difference in altitude, and Eau Rouge, the most legendary corner in the world of motorsport then. The preview of the track, and when you get off that start line, it is all about getting a good run on the rest of the pack as you head down towards turn 1 of La Source, and a very crucial corner. Need to get it right because the exit of this is so important. Watch for drivers sending them up the inside there as you get to the famous Eau Rouge and Radion then. Can you be brave and go side by side like a couple of folks in that image there? We'll wait and see a little later on. Radion, how brave you use the runoff as you head down the Kemmel straight into Les Combes then. Another chance where you can get an opportunity done of an overtake, unless you're Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, that is from a few years ago. Down then in towards Malmedy. A very tricky right-hander to get right. It's the exit of this corner that you can easily get wrong before you come to the hairpin, if you will. Very, very tricky right-hander. Still downhill, patient on the throttle before you come into what I believed was no name, but apparently it does have a name. Down the hill into the middle sector then, and you've got the double left-hander. A really, really tricky part of the circuit to get right before the chicane coming up right and left, and this sets you up then into not really an overtaking zone here into Campus, but what is a part of the corner that can really set you up for this back part of the circuit where you will be flat out throughout this whole entire bit until you head to that chicane. And if you get the corner before wrong, you'll lose a lot of momentum as you come into Blanchimont there and head round towards that final chicane. A lot can go wrong, a lot can go right if you get it bang on at this part of the track. And down towards the finish you go. And who will cross that finish in P1? That will be the question later on today. So that then was your track preview. And coming up shortly, again, the knockout qualifying session for you guys and for all of these drivers who's just been prepared in the Gear Up session, ready for the knockout qualifying. They'd have experienced all of that. How is their pace? What is their pace going to be like in terms of a short sprint race qualifying format? And it really is, if you haven't seen it before, it really is fantastic. And if anything like yesterday was to go by, it will be a fantastic battle throughout nonetheless. 7 kilometres though, you have got to get this one absolutely spot on. No chance for these drivers here to make a mistake. The way the knockout qualifying works then for the people at home who haven't been here before, the first lap will be under the safety car. No overtaking will be permitted then, as we are green now in this qualifying session. So the safety car will lead the drivers away, and what that will mean is they will be 1 lap behind the safety car. Now lap 2 here, if you're a regular at Racing Unleashed or not, normally we get 2 guarded laps. For Spa, with it being such a long track, we're having the 1 guarded lap, and a guarded lap basically means that lap 2 the drivers can go racing. They can overtake each other, they can make positions up. Nothing will happen. At the end of lap 2, when you start lap 3, you're still racing. At the end of lap 3, we lose the bottom 2 drivers from our leaderboard at the time. So whoever is 20th and 19th, 18th and then 17th, and so on and so forth, at the end of lap 3 onwards, will be eliminated to set our grid for this race. The lineup then for the knockout qualifying is Yannick Vonnenberg will start in first, Lars Bulmer then alongside him, Roger Mart, Kevin Abi, Devin Iskro, Ivan Koofman, Fabio Vettiger, Jan Tufen, David Ladamada, Florian Haas, Dominic Dedic, Loris Mistrata, Mark Gasner, Javier Loro, Wojciech Polezny, Enrique Marino, Christoph Holstein, Angelo Mikel, Alejandro Sanchez, and Mikel Schmiedel then is your order. So Mikel Schmiedel starts at the back. It is reverse championship order. So for Schmiedel, a lot of work to do to get himself prepared for this race, and this is something that he has done many a time this year, and although he doesn't seem to have the best knockout qualifyings, it does seem to propel him and set him up for this race then. So as you can see, every driver just weaving the car from side to side. You see a few lockups, a bit of tyre smoke coming from the cars. That's just them getting their brakes all up to temperature, making sure their tyres are all up to temperature as they follow single file through this famous circuit. And at the end of this lap, the safety car will pull in and will disappear into the pit lane, and we will get our qualifying underway for 2 laps, or 1 lap should I say, of free-for-all mayhem from our Racing League drivers. As speaking of mayhem, there's Enrique Marino nearly going into the back of Wojciech Polezny as he's just making sure his brakes are fully up to temperature. You've got to make sure them brakes are nice and warm because they need to be ready for La Source at turn 1. You just see every driver in front as well, and Marino there so close to the back of Polezny a few times. So Vonnenberg will lead the pack away and has the chance to pull a bit of a gap early on here, and the bigger gap you get early on, the better if you're the leader. As we saw yesterday with Ruiz Oscar, managed to get a good gap and managed to hold on for that P1, although the race didn't go his way then. But the safety car pulls off into the pit lane, and Yannick Vonnenberg then has already got a good jump out the chicane at the very end, and down towards La Source he comes. There's not another car in the camera view at the moment until they hit the braking zone, and now for Vonnenberg, he can make his way through past the El Rouge, and he's got a clear track in front of him, and that was, I can't quite see who that is, who had a bit of a shunt there, as Schmiedel now then currently down in that last spot and has a chance to make up places, but he's got 2 laps effectively to get out of that bottom 2 drop zone to get himself free and available. There's the car in front of that is Mistrata and Sanchez battling it out down the Camel Straight to Mistrata. He's now behind Sanchez, and that fear factor of Schmiedel in the background must be playing in Mistrata's mind there. Here's Roger Mart looking back from him. He's already 1.6 seconds off the back of Yannick Vonnenberg and has made his way up into P2. There's Roger Mart from 3rd place at the moment and is now on the hunt for Vonnenberg as Kevin Abi moves up and now down a place as David Iskro, and Kevin Abi must be having a tasty little battle in the background. Here's Lars Bulmer now into 3rd place. He's dropped from 2nd. So Vonnenberg doing exactly as I said a moment ago. Get a good gap early in this practice, in this knockout qualifying, and that could really set you up for a good grid position here, as not really many places are changing hands, and we come into the end of the first and one and only guarded lap, and this then will put a lot of pressure on this man, who knows he has to make a few places up if he's to get a good grid slot in the race. And we didn't see much pace from him in the free practice, so we're not sure what his lap times are. And for Schmiedl here, he's going to look to make a move to the outside in the chicane, and wisely gets on the brakes a little bit earlier as David Iskro and Kaufman have moved up the order, and that was a car just bouncing off the wall to the left hand side of screen. Not sure who that was, and there's a lot of drama going into turn one, a lot of late breakers, and a big incident there between 2 or 3 cars. There you go, they're all 3 rejoin, and that has helped Schmiedl out, and Schmiedl then probably just looking at it and thinking, people are going to make mistakes, there's going to be incidents, I can make places through their mistakes and problems, as David Ladamada then up into P9. And look at this, over the Camel Straight, and look at the traffic down the Camel Straight. There's a 3 abreast nearly coming into Lake Combs, on board and behind, and that was a car in the background who's just lost the rear. Not quite sure who that was. I think it was Haas then, as he's dropped down the pack and down to 19th place. But this midfield battle already turning into something of a traffic jam in the Ardennes Forest here, and the top 5 perfectly spaced out, perfectly away from the rest of the traffic. Kerry Nabido trying to stay with the back of Kaufman, and look, it is just a train. They must have a bit of rope tied to the front and back of each car, because they are pulling each other along through this middle sector of the lap. And Schmiedl now up into 14th, Tufan gets up into 15th as well, as Mistretta then drops down another couple of places. For Alejandro Sanchez so far, he's in P12 and knows he's got to stay in front of his championship rival, would like as many cars between himself and this man as possible. And Schmiedl, I said last time around at this part of the track, he's got to start to get a move on if he wants to make place up, and within a lap he's still stuck behind the same car, but has made up 5 places already, and that is how this qualifying session can work. A few mistakes, as look at this, on board Alejandro Sanchez, 3 wide into the chicane, and you are brave boys, and 2 of them got it horribly wrong, and they cause an incident, and that's involved Alejandro Sanchez in that as well, who you feel was a bit of a passenger there. He got a bit of a tap from behind, as well as a car coming across him in front, nowhere to go, and just drivers here, you feel that a bit of a lack of patience, so to speak, at the moment, as we will lose then Loris Mistretta from this qualifying, and we're only having 19 drivers, I believe. We only lose the 1 driver, and Mistretta out the car. Didn't look overly impressed there, did he? Christoph Holstein now, he has got to get some work done if he's to make up some places, as Marinon 18th is out of this qualifying session as well. So Holstein and Haas then, and look at everybody in this back half mid-pack sort of battle. They're 3 wide here. I don't think these drivers need to be making these kind of mistakes. Schmiedl's down to 14th. He's just staying out of trouble, makes up another place there as the car was rejoining. Here is Holstein, who gets heavily defended there into the corner from and that was Angelo Michel, who just came across the front of Holstein there then. After rejoining, and I tell you what, a lot of these drivers just need to sort of calm themselves down a little bit here. Race control, you feel, might be busy in this knockout qualifying session, and might be already sort of investigating what has happened. Here is David Ladamada then. He looks nice and patient, doesn't he? He looks as cool as he can be. In 8th place, he's got Sanchez behind him, Vertiger in front. And so far, no need to worry for Vonnenberg, Mort and Bulmer then out front. They have got a nice little gap between each other, and a nice little bit of time here as Schmiedl gets past Polesny then. That puts him into 12th place at the moment. Tufan has lost out to Haas. Them 2 will be eliminated here as Mort, so late on the brakes, and I think lost the rear all on his own, pulls the car out of harm's way, and that isn't, oh sorry, that is David Ladamada. I was looking at the bottom of the screen, and that then for David Ladamada, he's already pulled it into the pit lane. He's done. He knows he's eliminated with that mistake, and out the car he gets. And he is done for this session then, as Michael Schmiedl, and your championship leader, he's just picking places up one by one as everybody seems to be falling by the wayside. Look at the 2 in front side by side through Eau Rouge, up Radion, now onto the Camel Straight, and they're side by side. And this is where you see Polesny in the background as well, pulls out now on Schmiedl, and Schmiedl, he's not even going to defend that one, because he knows that slipstream and the draft is much too handle for himself, and he'll just wait for Polesny to get held up by Gazner and Loro in front then. Here is Plesny, who's just got past Schmiedl and want to get past these two as well, as I think that was Loro in front, just missing his apex by a little bit, you would say. Down the hill into the middle sector they come now, and for Plesny, he's got a couple of laps here to get himself ready to go. So 15 drivers left in this session, as Holstein and Haas, the drivers at risk at the moment, but it is very close and very tight all behind Javier Loro. Only a couple of tenths separate every driver, and Schmiedl is in that pack, in that danger zone of being eliminated within the next 1 or 2 laps, so he's got to start to make a place or two up here. And he is on the back once again of Wojciech Plesny, but this is Alejandro Sanchez on the back of Fabio Vertiger, now to Holstein, who was a bit annoyed a little earlier as he got a bit blocked. Now to the outside of the chicane, earlier on the brakes. Can he try and tuck underneath? No. And that is a job well done if you're Angelo Michel. You've managed to hang on for another lap. For Holstein and for Haas, though, we do lose them from qualifying. So Christoph Holstein and Florian Haas then have been eliminated from qualifying here. And now it is down to Wojciech Plesny and Angelo Michel to see if they can carry on going. Once again, Schmiedl has got past Plesny, and now we'll be on the back of Mark Gazner then. In that top 10, David Iskro has moved himself ahead of Bulmer into 3rd place, and the top 4 was all perfectly spread out, but I wonder if Bulmer's just had a problem then, because he's lost a lot of time to Roger Mort, and Iskro was over a second behind him, so maybe a problem for Bulmer there, which kind of brings Kaufman back into that at the front of the pack. Angelo Michel, though, 7/10 of a second off the back of Wojciech Plesny, and for Plesny, he needs to get himself on the back of Michael Schmiedl here then as well, because he's going to want to make sure he can get an extra lap in to maybe attack for that top 10. Schmiedl, though, out front, you just see him disappearing into the distance. And the overhead shot of Plesny, look, you can just see the purple car of Schmiedl and the blue car in the background of Michel. And Schmiedl putting the pressure on Gazner up front, and this could allow Plesny the chance here if these two come together and have a collision then. Flat out through this part of the track, really important to get a slipstream. Plesny seems probably a bit too far back, needs to hope for a problem from someone at that last chicane then, as Schmiedl round the outside, and that is a job well done. There is a car still to the left hand side of him, he can't come fully across, he's so much later on the brakes, bit of a lock up there, manages though to get it stopped into the corner, and he gets it perfectly done. And for Plesny and Angelo Michel, we're going to say bye to them for now, but they will be 12th and 13th preliminary on the grid, as Schmiedl gets himself into 10th place and is now already attacking the back of Fabio Vertiger then. And that will put him into 9th, and will put him on an extra lap. For Gazner as well, he needs to make sure that he can get himself on another lap. But for Vertiger, Schmiedl is coming like a man possessed, and he's pulled out now with the slipstream. Has he got the job done though? That is the question. We've seen how daring this man is on the brakes. Can he get it done into that Lecombe chicane? Oh, of course he can. It's as cool as you like from this man, the championship leader, and he's now into 9th place, and Vertiger and Gazner are the two that are in trouble of being eliminated. And for Schmiedl here, it is a knockout qualifying that started off as casual, a Sunday stroll for this man, that is turning now into an all-out attack to get as high up the grid for the race as possible. Alejandro Sanchez here then. What can he do? He's got a few places he can make up. He's got a couple of cars just in front of him. Currently P6 at the moment. Lars Bulmer and Ivan Koofman ahead. So Koofman's got himself ahead of Bulmer. So Bulmer just starting to struggle as this qualifying session goes on here then. And Alejandro Sanchez not in any danger of being eliminated, but look at this, pulls out now, goes up the inside, and for Lars Bulmer just dropping down the order, and Alejandro Sanchez puts another car between himself and Schmiedl in this one. It's not over yet though, because Bulmer coming back at him. Who breaks the latest round the outside for Sanchez, gives Bulmer plenty of room at the first part of the chicane, and Bulmer gives him the respect he deserves at the second part of the chicane. So Sanchez moves up into P5 then, but we are going to lose Fabio Vertiger and Mark Gazner from this qualifying session, and that will be them done for this one. And for Gazner then, a bit of a disappointing look on his face there. Alejandro Sanchez then 1, 2, 3 cars between himself and Schmiedel. But they're all within a couple of tenths, and Schmiedel is coming on the back. Here is Fabio Vertiger. Again, another disappointed look. Maybe he thought he could have done better in this knockout qualifying session. But for Sanchez, he's got Kevin Abbey and Lars Bulmer. Bulmer dropping down the order here. He's really starting to struggle in this knockout session, and he's now down into P7. And if he loses out to Javier Loro, will be in that elimination zone, and will be in the deadly drop zone for the end. Here is Schmiedel, and Loro look up the inside of Bulmer. Schmiedel's going to look to the outside line. Wow, very close to making contact there. Oh, now will he have to give that place back? I'm sure Race Control might want to just look at that one, but Bulmer then down to 9th place, and has just, I don't know what's happened at the back end of this session, but he's lost all the pace he had early on and has just struggled here. But Loro now back in the in participation for at least another lap, and Schmiedel 8 tenths behind, and we could be saying goodbye to Michael Schmiedel in this knockout qualifying session then. P8 at the moment, provisionally. He's got a lot of work to do. It's going to be a full send-it manoeuvre into this chicane, but you just kind of feel that it's too much to ask for. And hey, look, P8 from the back of the grid. It's not a bad place to be starting in the race, and we've seen what this man can do. Look at that. Look at the closing speed into the chicane. But for Lars Bulmer and for Schmiedel then, it is going to be the end of their qualifying session. Michael Schmiedel will start P8. Lars Bulmer will be P9. And what happened to that man? The pace just dropped off at the end there. And now it's the top 7. Javier Loro will continue on his way, as will Kevin Abbey. And is Schmiedel continuing here? No, there he goes. His car disappears then. As now Loro and Abbey side by side. These two are the next two to be eliminated. And for Javier Loro, he's got to find 2.5 seconds to get to Kaufman if he can get past Abbey here. Struggles there to get it done, and Loro now through at Les Combes. Job done. 2.6 seconds he needs to Kaufman, and that is a massive ask when you're nearly halfway through this circuit. For Kaufman though, 7 tenths off the back of Alejandro Sanchez, who's now up into P4 and can be very happy that he starts 4 places ahead of Michael Schmiedel at the moment in time. There is Javier Loro in Madrid. Probably knows that that gap is a little too big to make up the difference. He's going to give it his best shot though, as Kaufman is now a second behind Sanchez, and Sanchez needs 1.8 seconds to get on the back of David Iskro. Vonnenberg's being caught by Martin Iskro as well, so he's having a fantastic qualifying session here, but it's slowly being reeled in by Roger Mart, and he is slowly now making sure that he can try and come onto the back of Vonnenberg. As here comes Iskro having a look towards the outside line then, and a bit of a wiggle in the chicane, and that for David Iskro is back up, is now up into P2, and for Roger Mart then, he's got that hard work to do again. But we will lose Kevin Abbey and Javier Loro from this knockout session. 6th and 7th for this man. I'm sure they'll be very pleased with that qualifying session, although they've got the man, the myth, the legend sat right behind them. Kaufman now P5. Can he get on the back of Sanchez? Can Sanchez, 1.2 seconds he needs in a lap to get to this front 3 battle that is under a second between the 3 drivers, as back comes Roger Mart into Les Combes, round the outside, gives him the space, gets the job done. Fantastic manoeuvre back into P2 and on the front row of the grid at the moment in time. But they are just letting Vonnenberg here stretch his legs a little bit more. Sanchez now within 0.6 of a second of Devin Iskro. So what Mart will be wanting here, as Iskro has a bit of a slide mid-corner, and this is really going to allow Alejandro Sanchez to have a look, and he's going to have a look up the inside. Job done. Easy as you like. And Iskro now down into P4 with Kaufman in 5th, and you feel that we could lose them two now. Iskro going to try and come back at Sanchez, and he just maybe knows he made that one mistake and allowed Sanchez to have that momentum. But Sanchez then putting even more breathing space between himself and Schmiedel on this starting grid, and he's within 0.4 of a second of Roger Mart, who will now be looking to hunt down after Yannick Vonnenberg, who has led this from start to finish at the minute, or from start to where we are. because Sanchez is coming and Mott is going to hopefully get on the back of him as well. For Devin Eastro, though, 0.8 of a second, you feel is too big a task. Here comes Alejandro Sanchez to the outside line. So much bravery on the brakes, locks up, but somehow stops it, gets P2 done, so he's into second place. We are going to lose Devin Eastro and Yannick and even Koofman, and it is now a top 3 shootout between Yannick Vonnenberg, Alejandro Sanchez and Roger Mott. And for Sanchez, 1.1 seconds he's got to the race leader, or to the qualifying leader, should I say, of Yannick Vonnenberg. And what an absolute fantastic session this has been for this young man. He is absolutely flying in this session. 6 cars between himself and the championship leader now. He's got to be a very happy man, but he's got Roger Mott hunting him down behind as he now gets the gap to just under a second to Yannick Vonnenberg. And I do believe we are just going to lose the 1 driver this lap and then have the final lap of a 2-car shootout. I'm not 100% certain on that one, as we only had the 19 drivers today. Sanchez then, within 0.3 of a second, he has left Roger Mott and is hunted down Vonnenberg here. And Sanchez wants to put 7 cars between himself and Michael Schmiedel. And for Roger Mott, you just feel that he's helpless here. He's not able to stick with the back of Sanchez. The gap to himself and Vonnenberg is pretty much the same. But Sanchez in the middle, he's absolutely flying at the moment into the back part of the lap now. And you feel that we saw him last time round on the brakes at the chicane in that slipstream. He's got such momentum and speed at the moment with him. And on board Alejandro Sanchez, just look how calm he looks in the cockpit. Pulls to the outside. How's the late braking from him once again? Any lock up this time round? No. They both stay side by side and give each other respect. And that then is Sanchez into the lead of this qualifying session. And I do believe we're going to lose Roger Mott, who will be P3 on the grid then for qualifying. And Sanchez in the lead of this one with Yannick Vonnenberg, who just has a wiggle there in the background, as did Roger Mott, but I think we're losing Roger Mott anyway. Yes, we do. So it's Vonnenberg, half a second behind Sanchez. Really needs to stick with him as he looks a happy man in the car. Does Roger Mott then. Half a second, Yannick Vonnenberg, who up until this final lap has led every lap so far here in Munich. And look at the entourage watching on, and one of them drivers, I imagine, is Schmiedel himself, hoping that he can put Alejandro Sanchez under a bit of pressure here. And Sanchez has just sailed off into the distance and has had a fantastic qualifying session, come from 18th place on the grid and is leading this one at the very end. And Yannick Vonnenberg, who's led this one for the entire session here, is just going to miss out. If it finished at the end of last lap, he'd have still been short, but it would have been a lot closer than what it is at the minute, because Sanchez here, 1.7 seconds, he has checked out and gone. He's already packed his bags and ready to get ready for the race day, because he's ready to get to pole position in this one. And again, preliminary at the moment, race control already checking everything over, and I'm sure they will get the correct decision. As Sanchez here, what a qualifying session, 18th to 1st, and he's put 2 seconds between himself and Yannick Vonnenberg here then, and it's been a fantastic session for him. Into the final chicane he comes now, and for the final time in knockout qualifying here at Spa, it's going to be Alejandro Sanchez who's going to take pole position. A great qualifying from him, and a very, very happy man. But obviously I'm sure race control will be checking everything over to make sure everything is above board. But Alejandro Sanchez will be on pole. Yannick Vonnenberg will be second place as it stands at the moment. Great session from both drivers there, and for every driver then, you can just have a little breather and a preparation before the race session begins. So So that was your knockout qualifying session done there, and a fantastic drive from Alejandro Sanchez. We will confirm the pole sitter in due course while race control do their thing, and we get word through of who will be on pole, and we'll bring you an interview with the pole sitter a little later on. But a fantastic session nonetheless from everybody there, and Schmiedl can be very happy with his work. P8 he will start, and I saw a few disappointing faces towards the back end of the grid when we went on the onboard shots. One man who looked very happy though, and I saw him climb out his cockpit earlier, was Roger Moore. He had a massive smile on his face and will be extremely happy with his session there then. So race control, I can just see below me, are already checking everything over and are already making sure that everything is correct and above board at the moment in time. What a session that was. Race coming up a little later on, and if Alejandro Sanchez has that pace, well, what can he do in the race? Because it should be an absolutely fantastic one. 7 cars at the moment between himself and Michael Schmiedl, and that could be for Schmiedl a disappointing session if he has to give a place back. Let's not forget, he did run very, very wide and overtook a car on the outside line. I'm sure race control will double check it, but any places that Schmiedl loses could mean disaster in this one. Don't forget, a race win for him could be the championship wrapped up for him here today with a few races left to go. 3 races left to go after this one, so plenty of races left in this Racer League. Don't forget as well, coming up December the 11th, I can't remember what it's called now. We'll get to that in a moment. The prize money then for the Racer League is 2,500 Swiss francs for a race win, 1.5 for a second place, and £1,000 in your back pocket for P3. All the way down to 10th place, you come away with 50 Swiss francs. And for the season, which one man could win today, 15,000 Swiss francs could be his today, or maybe at the end of the season, but could guarantee it today. For 9,000 for second place, 6,000 for third, all the way down to 750 Swiss francs. The battle for glory, that's the competition on the 11th of December. There is the prize money for that one. The Racer League, 7,000 Swiss francs for a race win, 5,000 for second, £3,000 for P3, all the way down to 400 Swiss francs for that one. Unknown location at the moment. We still don't know where this one will be held. The battle for glory in December. You see there also the prize money for the Challenger League on the left-hand side as well. There it is, the 11th of December. Secret track. Nobody knows. They're not even telling me. I don't know what the track is. And we're getting closer to the 11th of December as well. It's only a couple of months away. And we all love December because it brings many good things in. As we roll in then, we are still waiting confirmation from race control for the pole sitter here then, and we will be bringing you an interview with him in due course there then. What a session that was, and what a session it will be a little later on, coming up shortly. The race, fit and fast exercises, as well as some more from Mr. JWW himself. And there is a surprise coming next month as well. It got announced yesterday that JWW and Fabian Vettel will be taking part in the Challenger League next month. And what an exciting time that could be. You are able to sign up. Go to our social medias and to Racing Unleashed website. If you want to sign up for the qualifying sessions to try and qualify, it's easy to do so. Follow the website. It will all explain what you have to do, and if you qualify for the Challenger League, you get a chance to take on Vettel and JWW. Alejandro Sanchez has been given pole position. We've got him back in his simulator, and it is pole position for you, my friend. Well done.
Yeah, that was quite unexpected, but we managed to stay out of trouble and just move to the front of the field. Draft played a big role in this. It was easy to just wait and use the draft to overtake the car in front and leave him with no chances of coming back in the next corner. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, you seem to be very patient early on in the qualifying session there. A few drivers made mistakes, and then at the end you seem to just unleash some fantastic pace from yourself, because you was just catching cars lap after lap after lap, and put some distance between yourself and second place at the end.
Yeah, it was quite tight because I overtook him in the next to last lap, I think. But yeah, we had some superior pace compared to the cars in front, so it was quite easy to just catch up, and basically I did the same to everyone, just overtaking the chicane. And yeah, that was it. It was easy, I would say, but not easy.
Going into the race as well. Apologies. Going into the race then, you start on in first place. What's your strategy? What's the plan?
Stay there. Last year I started on pole as well, and there were some incidents in turn 1, so I just want to stay out of trouble there and just run away as much as I can and try to put some distance between me and the fastest guys that are starting from the back, because they will move up the field, I'm pretty sure. So it's just a matter of setting the pace early on and getting into a nice rhythm.
Well, we wish you the best of luck for the race later on and hope to speak to you later.
Okay, thank you very much.
So a very happy pole sitter there then, and Alejandro Sanchez will be P1 and starting pole position later on in the race. What a job he did there then in qualifying. Great pace from him. Can he take the pace once again into the race? And can he take the fight to Mikel Schmidl to keep this championship alive and take it to the Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona? We'll have to wait and see in a moment's time. Race control, though, are still looking everything over and making sure that everything is the correct decision and that everybody has their starting position. We'll be bringing you the starting grid soon, a little later on again, just before the race, with a few driver interviews on the grid as well. Right, coming up a little later on as well, Fit and Fast, new video from Ralph Moller in that one, and I'm sure that one's going to be fascinating to see as well. As we get ready, we are going to check a few replays here, and let's see what happened. Devin Eastgro just outbraking himself, you see there, into the final chicane, and then making a little bit of contact, and I believe, no, that's not the one where Sanchez got caught up in, but outbraking himself, and Jan Toofen, that's where we saw the car in the wall, a wiggle on the curb, and wow, that from Enrique Marino. That is a brave manoeuvre, and it didn't work. 3-4 cars off there. Here's Florian Haas, and like Schumacher and Hakkinen in their day, except they wasn't bouncing off each other, and round he goes into Les Combes. Did he stay out of trouble? Looks that way. Polesny thought, I'm going to make it 3 wide here, and he gets squeezed into the final chicane, and he went wide. I believe that's where we saw the red car go round in front of Sanchez. Yeah, look, Polesny trying to rejoin when there wasn't really much room there. Look, Mikel Schmidl then. Look at that, just waiting for that gap to open, backs out of it, and then, oh, well then, will the stewards be interested in looking at that one from Mikel Schmidl? David Ladomada into the final chicane, and just too heavy on the brakes there. And it just seemed early on in this knockout session that a lot of drivers just seemed to be a bit too impatient and just too eager to make the places up and make as much ground as possible, because they just seemed like they wanted it too bad. And in the end, race control are going to be very, very busy with a few incidents here then. And we will bring the final classifications. Well, let's take a look at the sign up now if you want to become a part of Racing Unleashed with Mr. JWW.
So you want to race in the Challenger League. It's actually really simple to join. Just head over to the Racing Unleashed website, find the Challenger League, and be sure to sign up. Now, you don't need to wait for any confirmation. Once you've registered, you're in. Now, here's where things get real. You will then be allocated a specific time frame where qualifying takes place. You make your way to your nearest racing lounge, hope that you're fast enough, and then hopefully you'll qualify to join in the first Challenger race.
And that was Mr. JWW there then. Thank you for the explaining the sign-ups. We're going to take a very short break and look back at some Fit and Fast and back at Brands Hatch a few months ago. We'll see you shortly.
This exercise is called leg raises. The exercise also works the lateral abdominal muscles. A strong torso relieves the back from blows and helps to secure the body and spine during sudden abrupt movements. In addition, you develop a nice six-pack. So, we do the exercise. Lie back on a mat, lift the legs and stretch them out long. Place the arms at the side. Bring them more in like an L, yes. And now you begin slowly to move to one side and to the other side. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale and exhale. 10 or 12 reps, and afterwards, minute, you have a break. After 8, 9 reps, it will really burn. Yes, 0, that's the one. We start counting when it hurts. right?
Racing Unleashed.
Yes, my friends. That's how champions train.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
Green and go after being held at the line for a while.
Who is going to be king of the late breakers?
Speed up the Bremsen!
Michael Spiedel is throwing absolutely everything at this, including the kitchen sink. Disaster strikes.
Unglaublich.
Wow, qué pelea.
I'm loving this. Look at this. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
This is Racing Unleashed.
And that is race control. Those are the gentlemen are charged with making all the decisions during the race and post-race as well. They're having a busy time of it following qualifying because there are a number of incidents that they needed to look at. They have access to so much data and so many camera angles. They can look at absolutely everything in fine. I mean, literally take it back to frame by frame. They can do that, and you can see that being done as we speak as well. Race control, keep an eye on everything. Here comes our grid then. Christoph Holstein is in Zurich. He's on P22. Angelo Michel is P21. I'm hoping that Christoph Holstein can hear us. Christoph, you're starting right at the back of the pack. Let everyone else lose their head and you'll come through the whole pack. Is that the strategy you have?
Sure. I mean, you always have to be count a little bit on luck, I guess, when you're starting so far back. So, I just hope there's going to be some carnage up ahead, and then I can make my way through. Otherwise, it will be very difficult.
I'm glad you said carnage, Christoph. We wish you the best of luck for the race. Thank you for talking to us. Christoph Holstein then, and Angelo Michel going from P21 and P22. We continue through our grid now, and Dominic Dedic, he's another driver that's got work to do, and Loris Mistretta, they go from P19 and P20 on our grid. So the 10th row closed out by Dominic Dedic and Loris Mistretta. Wojciech Polesny, for my money, is another driver that is perhaps out of position, and he's going to be going from P18. And alongside him, he finds Kevin Abey. Wojciech Polesny going from Munich, and Kevin Abey racing in our lounge in Zurich. These fabulous Formula Hybrid 2022 ex-Evo cars. Jan Teufen goes from P16. Enrique Marino then in Madrid. He will be going from P15 on the grid. And you can see the drivers in their final stages of preparations then ahead of the race to come at the British roller coaster that is Brands Hatch. So that was our 8th row of the grid. Now we go to the 7th row of the grid. 7th row, P14. Michael Smeedel, my old friend here, what are you going to do from P14?
Well, to be honest, I don't know. I will just do my best and just fight, I guess.
Your best is normally pretty good, and we wish you well for the race. Michael Smeedel then, understated. Go forward, friend.
Thank you, Dave.
So Michael Smeedel going from P14. And then Javier Loro is alongside him. He is in our Madrid lounge. He goes from P13. So that is the 7th row of the grid. Going to be fascinating to watch how that row develops during the course of the race. Besnik Murtetsi and Sebastian Hirsch, they are in Calm and Munich. And they go from the 6th row of the grid. It's P11 and P12. P11 for Sebastian Hirsch, P12 for Besnik Murtetsi. We continue to scroll through our grid of cars. It's Alejandro Sanchez going from P10, the returning Alejandro Sanchez, and Devin Iskro with a very good qualifying performance. He goes from P9 on the grid. in our racing lounge here in Kemptal. Let's see what those drivers can do. And to the next row of the grid, David Ladomada and Florian Hasse. Then they are P8 and P7. Kemptal and Munich are the lounges where their simulators are situated, and that's where they will be driving. David Ladomada just listening to a bit of hip-hop there ahead of the race. It's one of his calming methods, you know. I don't mean that. Fabio Vettiger is in Zurich, and Lars Baumeister is in Calm. Lars, good afternoon. Brilliant qualifying from you. You're going from P5. Please tell us, what is the strategy, Lars?
Yeah, hello and good afternoon too. I want to try to give my best and hold the position and stay out from any crashes, and hopefully it don't crashes after turn 1.
We wish you the best of luck, Lars, and well done for your qualifying performance then. It's funny, isn't it, that word crash has been used quite a lot by the drivers that we've spoken to on the grid. So once again, congratulations to Lars Baumeister then and Fabio Vettiger. They are on the third row of the grid going from P5 and P6. Let's get to the sharp end of it now then. Mark Gasner in Munich, he's going from P4. And Roger Marte then in Kemptal, who I spoke to off the air just a few moments ago, is going from P3. A really good qualifying performance from Roger Marte here in Kemptal, and he'll be hoping to capitalise on that. And Yannick Vonnenberg, well, he is on the front row of the grid. It's P2, but the delight you could see just a few moments ago from Lorenzo Hayder, then up from the Challenger League into the Racer League for this weekend, and he goes from pole position, P1 for Lorenzo Hayder. Will he disappear up the road as he did in qualifying? It's a big thumbs up. Right now, here comes some fast facts about Brands Hatch Circuit then, the British roller coaster. 3.9 kilometres in length, 4 left-hand turns, 5 right-hand turns as they twist and wind around the countryside of Kent. 188 metres from start to turn 1, 32 metres the height difference, and it is one of Britain's best-loved circuits. Of course, the full GP configuration. This is Paddock Hill Bend. It's like diving off a cliff when you go down that right-hander from the start-finish straight. Let's move on to another tight turn here. Druids. It's as near to a hairpin on Brands Hatch as you will find. Uphill into it, downhill out of it. And when you finish that downhill out of it, you find yourself here at Graham Hill Bend. Use the runoff area and try and get the trajectory absolutely right for the left-hander, which comes up next. Westfield Bend is another challenge for our drivers, something of a double apex bend, and as you can see, down and then up once again as the trajectory works. And for Clark Curve, get the setup right. You can use the inside line along the start-finish straight
really
to give you
this result. I didn't expect this result, so I'm speechless. Wow, what a race! Because I'm sorry, what a qualifying. Yeah, I'm so happy.
Thank you, Lorenzo Hayder. And now let's take a look at the Rocket Racing Star contest and what a conclusion that was. VIPs littering the place in Bolton. And the competitors
rejoined us here in the NCME. One final corner to go then, and out of it, it is going to be 2 victories here at the Bolton final for Monica Bolton Ramos, as she should be our racing star. Final corner, Deegan Fairclough, and he's done it. It's 2 victories for Deegan Fairclough and 26 points apiece as well. Fastest laps in both, and he cannot believe what has just happened. That is a life-changing moment.
So lots of information to bring you then, and this is what we're looking forward to bringing you the most, of course. It is the start of the race, and as I was saying just before we heard from Lorenzo Hayder, an exit from Clark Curve to the inside can give you the run through Paddock Hill Bend. So all the cars are set on the grid then. We're looking at the Roger Marte car. That's really in our focus. And, of course, Lorenzo Hayder going from pole position. We'll see the lights. We'll throw them to the top of the screen for you. And the drivers all being held there on the grid, ready to get this race underway. 30 minutes, the race duration of this twisty-turny Brands Hatch circuit then. And we are about to go racing round 5 of our championship season for this year. This is Racing Unleashed. And we go beyond the Pinnacle. The first of 2 dates in the UK in our championship this year. We're here at Brands Hatch. We head off to Silverstone next. And the sense of anticipation and excitement really building as the drivers are preparing themselves in their simulators around all of our lounges. There is the lighting sequence, and it is, of course, race control that control that. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4, 5. Hold on to your hats. Oh, held for a long time on the lights. Oh, and a disaster for Roger Marte. He jumped the start. There's no question about that. That means Lorenzo Hayder is pushed back to P2. He was trying to anticipate the start was Roger Marte and just got it wrong. So here is Lorenzo Hayder, P2, but pretty sure it'll be P1 because Roger Marte undoubtedly anticipated the start. Here comes the crash that we feared might happen right at the start of the race, but not where we expected it. It's down from Druids into the Graham Hill Bend and then beyond. So Wojciech Polesny then, he's making progress already. And Michael Smeedel is P15. Here's Loris Mistretta. And it is Loris Mistretta that Michael Smeedel will be chasing down. Sebastian Hirsch P10 ahead of Javier Loro. So we get the first lap underway here, and the drivers will be happy to bank the first lap, I would suggest. So Marte on screen then is leading, but as I say, it's almost a slam dunk that he will be picking up a penalty for jumping the start. Sebastian Hirsch then running in P10. Final points paying position then as they do put the first lap in the book. And here is the order then. It is Lorenzo Hayder. That's been righted ahead of Mark Gasner and Fabio Vettiger, Florian Haase. Then it is David Ladamada, Alejandro Sanchez, Devin Iskro. And then it's Bonmela and Hirsch and Angelo Michel then the top 10. And David Ladamada in strife then on the grass on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. And Devin Iskro having got by Alejandro Sanchez. Good move by Devin Iskro. He's moved up to P5 now. And David Ladamada is down to P10. So Michael Smeedel, P14. He's the driver, of course, that will just let them all settle down ahead of him and let all the strife unfold so that he can then concentrate on trying to overtake as many of those drivers as he possibly can. Or more strife there, as you could see, but David Ladamada avoiding that. I think it was Wojciech Polesny and all sorts of strife there, but he managed to hold on to the car and keep it pointing in the right direction and running in that P12 as they round Clark Curve now. And here is Michael Smeedel then on lap 3 of 27. You can see the cars ahead of him now. Dive to the inside. That will give you the inside line going to Paddock Hill. He chooses to go to the outsiders. Jan Teufen sets the fastest lap, a 1:03.452. Now, Lorenzo Hayder, his strategy right at the front of the pack is to build as much gap as he can over Gasner. And he's done that by already putting a half second between himself and the P2 driver. This is Alejandro Sanchez then, following Devin Iskro, P5 and P6. Let's go on board with Alejandro Sanchez then, hugely successful driver, of course, champion. And he's chasing down Devin Iskro. Alejandro Sanchez driving in our lounge in Madrid, and Devin Iskro driving in our lounge here in Kemptal. Javier Loro just out of the points at the moment, P11. He's chasing David Ladamada in that green car that you can see ahead, these Formula X hybrid Evo 2022 cars. And Javier Loro, as behind, you can see Wojciech Polesny looking very, very racy indeed. So Hayder continuing to build a margin, and Alejandro Sanchez now sets the fastest lap, and that brings him ever closer to Devin Iskro. But it's where you can find a way of making a move here. This is Michael Smeedel and Loris Mistretta. So where is Michael going to have a go at Loris Mistretta now then through Graham Hill? That's not going to be the opportunity. Maybe following the left-hander which comes next. Here he is then. Let's follow him around here as he makes his way up the Hawthorne Hill then. But he's just not close enough. Just not close enough here. Bear in mind, Michael Smeedel leading the championship at the moment. Lorenzo Hayder is leading the race by only 0.3 of a second, it has to be said. And here's Alejandro Sanchez chasing down Devin Iskro. These two, well, they're often very, very close together during the course of the race, and they were certainly close together during qualifying as well. So over the line they go then, putting another lap. The laps are so short here at Brands Hatch that it comes thick and fast. We're already on lap 5 of 27. And here's Mark Gasner then, still within sight of Lorenzo Hayder ahead. But Lorenzo just controlling his pace really nicely and keeping a sufficient margin of tarmac between himself and Mark Gasner. Let's look at what the gap is as we go on board the Lorenzo Hayder car, looking back at Mark Gasner, then Fabio Vettiger and Florian Haase, and oh dear me, Javier Loro right in the middle of that lot as one car gets absolutely T-boned. And I'm sure that's David Ladomada. Enrique Marino involved as well, and Javier Loro goes for another spin as well. So talk about dance yourself dizzy. Poor Javier Loro has been round and around and around. So does get it pointing back in the right direction again, but that of course has put him way, way back. In fact, all the way to the back of the pack. No such strife, no such trouble for the drivers at the front of the pack. As Lorenzo Hayder is still marginally quicker than Marco Gasner, but Alejandro Sanchez, the first driver, I think, that's put his lap time into the 1:02s. So Alejandro Sanchez, obviously meaning business. He's managed to get by Devin Iskro, and now he's putting those fastest laps in. So presumably he will consider that Devin Iskro was something of a cork in the bottle, and now he's been released from that. Now he can go for it. Here is Alejandro Sanchez. And that means that Alejandro Sanchez now in that P5 position, having disposed of Devin Iskro and chasing down the Haase car ahead now. And all over the gearbox of Florian's car as Alejandro Sanchez tries to find a way through. Podium, surely a possibility here for Alejandro Sanchez if he continues performing the way he is at the moment. However, Haase will do his best to stick his elbows out and prevent him from going through. Here, Alejandro Sanchez then completes another lap. And here is Sebastian Hirsch doing a very creditable job, running in P8. Michael Schmiedl has made it up to P9. And Wojciech Polesny now sets the fastest lap with a 1:02.757. Enrique Marino we're on board with now, as his simulator bumps and bumbles around, replicating perfectly the grooves and undulating nature of the Brands Hatch circuit, which is where we are racing at today. So using the runoff area on the exit of Graham Hill, Enrique Marino is really now reeling in. David Ladomada ahead. Oh, just loses a bit of momentum there as the front end of the car got a little less sticky than he would have liked it to be. And that plays into the hands of David Ladomada. Lorenzo Hayder has maintained his gap and increased it a bit over Mark Gasner. It's up to half a second now between P1 and P2. Then it's Fabio Vettiger, and Alejandro Sanchez has got by Haase and is now P4. I did say just a few moments ago, is a podium a possibility for Alejandro Sanchez? I think so. Here's Sebastian Hirsch climbing up towards Druids now. It's the closest to a hairpin that we have here at Brands Hatch. You run uphill into it and downhill out of it before Graham Hill. And Sebastian Hirsch is running in P8 at the moment. Javier Loro now sets the fastest lap, a 1:02.469. But Javier Loro is languishing down there in P21 following the crash we saw earlier on. Sebastian Hirsch has managed to get by Devin Iskro as well, and so too now has Michael Schmiedl, keeping an eye on the graphics on the left-hand side of the grid. And all of a sudden, Michael Schmiedl is finding the pace that he wants. He's up to P8. Bear in mind, he wants to bank as many points as he can. He wants to bank as much money as he can as well. That's what racing drivers do. And Michael Schmiedl proves that he's really adept at doing that. As now he lines up the car ahead. Clark Curve now. Can he get to the inside? Along the start-finish straight, which would give him the inside line for Paddock Hill. No, he prefers to go to the outside. Is he selling Lars a dummy here? And then on the run up to Druids, he takes a look at the inside. Lars Bormeyer just holds onto it nicely and denies Michael Schmiedl, who has got Devin Iskro right up his trumpet too. So they run out onto the grass, or rather Devin Iskro does, and Alejandro Sanchez, I said, is a podium a possibility. Well, At the moment, it looks absolutely guaranteed because he's running P3 somewhat earlier than I potentially anticipated, because on lap 9, Alejandro Sanchez is in that P3 place. We continue with Lorenzo Hayder leading, but we watch this battle going on with Mikael Smeedel at the moment, trying to find his way past Lars ahead of him, who of course is running in P7. And you cannot afford to take too many laps to make your overtaking move and to make it work. Right, is he going to try a different strategy now? Yes, he looks at the inside line going into Paddock Hill, but he wasn't quite close enough, I don't think. So Smeedel has to stick another lap, or the start of another lap, in that P8 position. He would far rather have disposed of the number 7 place, but he hasn't done it. Here comes Enrique Marino trying to dive bomb up the inside on David Ladomada going into Druids, but it didn't quite pay off. And it's Dominic Dedic that's sitting right behind Enrique Marino. This is a fight that's going on for P15. It's David Ladomada in P15 at the moment, with Enrique Marino on P16 and Dominic Dedic P17. So here the three-way fight continues. And for the moment, it's as we were. Loris Mistretta is now running in P9 as Mikael Smeedel P7. Sebastian Hirsch is the next in his target sights, and Loris Mistretta P9 dives to the inside of Devin Iskro. Devin really left the door open there, and Loris Mistretta just said, thanks very much, I don't need 2 invitations, I'm coming through, chap. And come through he did. Meantime, just looking at the screen, the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see that the gap at the front has remained fairly steadfast at half a second or so, as Loris Mistretta does run across the grass, but gets it all gathered up and is back on the tarmac now. So, lap 11 of 27 of a race that's being led by Lorenzo Hayder. And now Mark Gasner, of course, can't attack Lorenzo Hayder because his rearview mirrors are full of Alejandro Sanchez. This is the fight that's going on for P2. Alejandro Sanchez then looking for a way by Marco Gasner, or Mark Gasner I should say, and he finds it. Again, Gasner, like Devin Iskro on the lap before, just left the door open, and now Alejandro Sanchez will be able to sniff the opportunity of a win. Smeedel sets the fastest lap, a 1:02.312. He's in P7. Alejandro Sanchez is in full attack mode as he tries to get ever closer to Lorenzo Hayder. The gap is coming down 10th by 10th. And there they chase now up Hawthorne Hill. Alejandro Sanchez is P2. Lorenzo Hayder there is P1. Let's stay with this battle. Or maybe not, because we pick up Sebastian Hirsch, who is challenging Florian Haas ahead. This is for P5. Alejandro Sanchez, meantime, is continuing to chase Lorenzo Hayder. So here you can see how the elbows are being stuck out, I should say, to try and make the car even wider than it is. Sebastian Hirsch, Mikael Smeedel now around the outside. Let's split the screen so we can bring you 2 battles at the same time. On the right-hand side is the battle for the lead of the race. Lorenzo Hayder, P1. Alejandro Sanchez, P2. This is Mikael Smeedel on the left-hand side of your grid down a Graham Hill bend, trying to get rid of Sebastian Hirsch, but he's failed to do it. Lorenzo Hayder, it's down to just 4 tenths between him and Alejandro Sanchez. He knows that Sanchez is coming. Meantime, Mikael Smeedel has to just take another lap to try and get by Sebastian Hirsch. So Alejandro Sanchez now is reeling in the car of Lorenzo Hayder. This is for the lead of the race. Where can he do it? Well, running down now towards Clark Curve. This could be it. Alejandro Sanchez then, if he can try and get to the inside line of this start-finish straight here. But look at Lorenzo Hayder. He virtually welds the car to the wall. Now Alejandro Sanchez tries to sell a dummy. And Lorenzo Hayder is wise to it. He makes the car wide. Alejandro Sanchez tries to go all the way around the outside at Druids. That's going to be a big ask, but it would give him the inside for the next turn. And wow, brilliant defensive driving from Lorenzo Hayder, but he runs a bit wide. They go side by side. But still, Lorenzo Hayder is not prepared to give up. He gets sideways. That plays into the hands of Alejandro Sanchez and also Mark Gasner. The new leader is Alejandro Sanchez. Lorenzo Hayder is furious with himself because he's lost P1 and also P2. Wow, what a fight that was. Mark Gasner, of course, another big beneficiary of that. And now that Alejandro Sanchez, look, in the space of just a few 100 meters of tarmac, he has built a margin of 1.4 seconds. Extraordinary. We're just over halfway through this race, and Mikael Smedel, there was a little sigh of frustration you can see, because it is hard to get by at Brands Hatch, although Alejandro Sanchez made it look easy now. Here, Mikael Smedel surely will be able to pick up another place as Fabio Vettiger goes wide. But he's been fighting so hard to get by Sebastian Hirsch. And now, Smedel is able to do it, surely. Indeed he does. And in fact, now Mikael Smedel is up to P5. So Vettiger and Smedel fighting over that P5 position. But Mikael Smedel has gone through, and now it will be Florian Haas in his target sights. What have we got? We're on lap 15 of 27. Is a podium prospect likely for Mikael Smedel? Trust me, if anyone can do it, this man can. He's re-energized. He realizes over the final stages of this race that he could be potentially on the podium. He's got two cars to get by. There's Roger Marte running in P13. He, of course, jumped the start right at the start of the race. Great shame. Enrique Marino is running in P14, and this is Jan Teufen that we're on board with. Lockups coming thick and fast through Druids. Sanchez leading by a second over Gasner, and then it's Lorenzo Hayder in P3. Jan Teufen is P12 at the moment, chasing down this man, Wojciech Polesny, who we're on board with right now. Wojciech Polesny driving the simulator in our Munich lounge. And whichever lounge you're competing in or spectating in, we say thank you for being part of Racing Unleashed this weekend. And wherever you're watching us at home, we're delighted that you are watching us at home as well and enjoying the scintillating race action that we are bringing you from Racing Unleashed, the Racer League. And should give a big shout out to some of our broadcasters all around the world, including China and Philippines, with Hoya and TAP in the Philippines. And of course Motor Trend in the USA, as well as Garage TV in Spain. Hello and good afternoon to all of you. So Mikael Smedel we're back on board with now as he continues his quest. We've got 10 laps left to run, and a podium is potentially in sight here for Mikael Smedel. Can he do it? Well, the first person he's got to get by is Hasser, who is running in P4. And here's Javier Loro now, making his way through Graham Hill Bend, keeping an eye on the rearview mirrors to see who's behind him as well as focusing on the car ahead of him, which of course is David Ladamada. Also racing in our Chemtel, as Javier Loro racing in Madrid and David Ladamada in our Chemtel lounge here. So Sanchez now nearly 2 seconds to the good over Mark Gasner. And then it is Lorenzo Hayder in P3. A really creditable performance from Lorenzo Hayder, stepping up from the Challenger League to the Racer League this weekend. And Javier Loro lining up David Ladamada to try and find a way by, but he's been denied so far. He does continue his quest. Enrique Marino now sets the fastest lap, a 1:02.163. I wonder if we're going to see a lap in the 1:01s at some point. Only time will tell. So Javier Loro then running in P17. Alejandro Sanchez and Mark Gasner P1 and P2. Lorenzo Hayder P3. Florian Hasser P4. And this is Mikael Smedel, who is still trying and trying ever so hard to move himself up another further position. Can he do it now through Clark Curve? Clark Curve into the start-finish straight. And this is Javier Loro that we are watching. Sanchez, Gasner, Hayder, 1, 2, 3. Haas, Smeedle and Vettiger, the next three. And Javier Loro down there in P18 with Angelo Michel ahead, and David Ladamada, of course, ahead of Angelo Michel, who got by Javier Loro. So hopefully my technical crew are listening as we commentating, because for the moment we've lost all audio. All I can hear is me, can hear none of the track action at the moment. So Alejandro Sanchez and Mark Gasner P1 and P2. Lorenzo Hayder is P3. And Javier Loro then in P18. Lars Baumeiler, you can see, who is running in P10 at the moment. So we continue to watch this race develop, develop at the moment, as it is at the moment, and reaching the closing stages of this race. So Sanchez now 3 seconds to the good. Smeedle P5 still can't find a way by Haase. So Sanchez, Gasner, Hayder, the 1, 2, 3. Lars Baumeiler very much involved in the thick of the action then that's going on further down the order. P10 with Wojciech Bolesny, P11, and Jan Teufen, who is currently running down there in P12. So as we continue, Alejandro Sanchez, Mark Gasner, Lorenzo Hayder then, at the risk of repeating myself, the top three. Florian Haase, P4, Michael Smeedle, frustrated in P5. But now with Florian Haase trying to attack Lorenzo Hayder, perhaps that plays into the hands of Michael Smeedle. Taking a look at the inside, there's a lock-up from Lorenzo Hayder. And all of a sudden, there are 4 cars that are queuing up behind Lorenzo Hayder. We've got 6 laps left to run. As Javier Loro involved in the thick of the action as well, with Kevin Abey and Yannick Vonnenberg as well, as we split the screen. My eyes at the moment are drawn to the left-hand side of the screen, because Michael Smeedle has spent lap after lap after lap frustrated behind the Florian Haase car and hasn't been able to find a way by, as Alejandro Sanchez increases his margin to 4.5 seconds to the good now. Sanchez from Gasner, from Hayder, the top 3, then the rest of the pack continuing to chase. On lap 22 of 27, Javier Loro all the way around the outside there of Kevin Abey. Good move by Javier Loro on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, it's the fight that's going on for P4. Well, getting ever closer to Lorenzo Hayder is Florian Haase here. And where can Haase make his move? Michael Smeedle is being quite clever about this now, having realised that on pace alone he's not been able to get by. So therefore what he's doing is just going to allow Florian to continue fighting, because the more Florian fights, the closer it brings Michael Smeedle, and he might be able just to pick up the pieces. Again, just dived out of the slipstream of the car ahead and looked at the inside. But I think that's more worrying for Florian Haase, as David Ladamada sticks his elbows out and prevents Angelo Michel from coming through, who's being chased by Javier Loro. So Smeedle here. Both Smeedle and Haase are almost within sight of Lorenzo Hayder. Well, they're certainly within sight of Lorenzo Hayder, but they cannot find a way by. Here Smeedle takes a wide outside line. Will he try and duck underneath now? Not close enough. Not close enough to be able to do it. This has been brilliant driving from Haase, who has just held on to this P4 place despite the enormous threat of Michael Smeedle behind. He has been unfazed by that, and I have to say Lorenzo Hayder is not bowing to the pressure of those cars behind him either. But now Mikael Smeedel on the run out of that turn does get much closer to Florian Hasser. Is this going to be an overtake for P3? He sticks it up the inside, but Hasser is able to carry much more speed, and the momentum he has denies once again Mikael Smeedel. Well, 10 out of 10 for effort. Absolutely fantastic racing that we're enjoying and watching here. And this is all for the final podium place, P3, because Sanchez is 5.7 seconds up the road of anybody else. And that anybody else is Mark Gasner in P2. So he is Smeedel then. You just get the impression that he's resting himself and resting the car for another go. But we are running out of laps within which he can have a go. We're on lap 24 of 27. And let's go on board with him now. Oh, and you can see just how close Smeedel gets. Now this is where he got a superb run on Hasser last time around. He's done the same this time. He goes to the inside. They're side by side. He needs to be able to carry the momentum. They barge wheels, but this time Mikael Smeedel has done it. And he's put himself up into P4. Now, forgive me, but you will remember that I said a little while ago, is a podium a possibility for Smeedel? Well, with just 2 and a bit laps to go, Smeedel has got to try and get on terms with Lorenzo Hayder. This is going to be a phenomenal fight to the finish, I predict. Absolutely super racing. So enjoying this. So, Lorenzo Hayder, watch out. Smeedel is coming. And Smeedel running in P4. He rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed the overtake on Hasser, and it took him so many laps to eventually do it. Here is Lorenzo Hayder now, so deserves a podium. However, he has got the championship leader right up his trumpet now. And this is what it looks like from being on board Lorenzo Hayder's car as the hard-charging Mikael Smeedel with 2 laps left to run, or 1 lap and the remainder of this one. Oh, what a fight to the finish this is going to be. So Lorenzo Hayder, Mikael Smeedel, P3, P4. Sanchez is 7.5 seconds up the road ahead of Mark Gasner. So P1 and P2 is pretty assured. What is up for grabs is this final podium place. So Lorenzo Hayder then hugs the inside of the start finish straight to prevent Mikael Smeedel getting a run into Paddock Hill. And now it's the run up to Druids. Now, Hayder needs not to make a mistake like a lockup, or was the lockup from Mikael Smeedel? He carried a little bit too much speed, and now he's got to try and do it all over again. Oh, you can almost see the frustration on Smeedel's face then, because maybe there was an opportunity there that he threw away. Is he making it difficult upon himself? Well, up towards Hawthorne Bend they go with Lorenzo Hayder, P3. And down Dale once again, and here comes Mikael Smeedel for another shot at this. We are on the final lap. It's now or never. So it's the remainder of this lap plus 1 more for Lorenzo Hayder and Mikael Smeedel, because Alejandro Sanchez has crossed the timing line to start the final lap. So now, where is Smeedel going to place that car? Lorenzo Hayder needs not to make any mistakes now, because Smeedel is ready to pounce. But he may have left it just a little bit too late. He'll rue the opportunity that he had just a couple of laps ago. That was perhaps a wasted opportunity. Right, now this, of course, is where he disposed of Florian Hasser. Can he do the same on Lorenzo Hayder? And Hayder, look at this, is protecting the inside line. He makes Smeedel go all the way around the outside, which is the long way around. So good defensive driving from Lorenzo Hayder. And very good attacking driving from Mikael Smeedel, but everything that he's been able to throw at him as Alejandro Sanchez takes the win. It's P1 for Alejandro Sanchez on his return. It's P2 for Mark Gasner. Smeedel now is denied. Surely Lorenzo Hayder has done enough. Here is Mark Gasner, but running to the line now, Lorenzo Hayder. It's almost a photo finish between Hayder and Mikael Smeedel, but I think Hayder just shaded it. Wow, what a race that was. Ho, ho, ho. Can somebody get me a massage table? My goodness me. Alejandro Sanchez on his return. He takes P1. Mark Gasner P2. Lorenzo Hayder P3. Performance from you, Lorenzo. You were under so much pressure, but you banked the podium. It's the least you deserve, my friend.
Hey, mate, thanks. This result, I'm so speechless. It's amazing. An amazing result. P3 in the Pro League. I can't believe it. The fight with Sanchez was very nice and fair, and the fight with Smiddle on the last corners. Wow, these guys, very professional and very fair. Nice racing. Really nice racing.
I agree with you, Lorenzo, and I want to reinforce the fact that you've stepped up from the Challenger League to race in the Racer League this weekend by token. Not only did you put the car on pole position, you're banking a podium as well, and I have to say, I was really, really impressed with your racecraft, not only for your ability to race at pace, but also for your ability to defend, but to defend very fairly.
Thanks.
What a race. Well done, Lorenzo Hayder. We'll be seeing you on the podium. Mark Gasner, P2. He's in Munich. Many, many congratulations to you, Mark. I mean, Sanchez, the pace he had was extraordinary, but you have banked P2. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. I was really trying to be cautious this event. I had some bad luck in the previous round, so I thought just scoring points this round would be good. So starting P4 was a good position. Then I was in P2, stuck behind a slower guy, and when I saw Sanchez behind me, he was much faster. I let him through and hoping that he would maybe create a gap when trying to pass for P1, and it's pretty much exactly what happened. And yeah, afterwards I was just really driving very, very carefully, not pushing very hard. So probably like half a second off my potential pace, but there was no point chasing Sanchez.
That's really interesting to listen to you, Mark, because you are using your head, aren't you? You're driving with your brain, because as you say, there was no point throwing everything at it. You'd got a comfortable margin ahead of those that were chasing you. So that was really, really good and clever driving, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, especially this track, it's so easy when you're pushing to make a mistake, put a wheel on the grass or something. So I saw Sanchez doing it once, almost throwing it away. So no point risking anything in P2.
Well, many congratulations. We look forward to seeing you on the second step of the podium. Many congratulations to Mark Gasner in Munich then. He takes P2, and a very, very good job he did as well, really driving with his head. Well done, Mark Gasner.
Thank you.
So we've heard from our P3, we've heard from our P2, of course. Inevitably we'll be hearing from Alejandro Sanchez in due course as well, as we look at race control there and any instance being looked at. And as I say, I don't think there were that many that will concern them too much. But here then, he returns like the veritable phoenix, on fire today. No question about that. Alejandro Sanchez, good afternoon to you. Alejandro, of course, racing in the simulator in Madrid. We saw today why you are a championship driver, Alejandro. The pace you had was extraordinary. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Had a lot of fun. I didn't think that overtakes will be possible, but you just have to force the guy in front to make a mistake, and that's what we did. So I'm really happy with today.
There were a couple of times, if I may say, Alejandro, where I thought you were absolutely on the edge. I mean, at a track like Brands Hatch, you really do have to push the envelope, and it's a thin line between making the move stick and for it all going horribly wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. If you're on the outside, you need to have a lot of faith on the guy on the inside, and basically you just have to send it really hard and make it stick in order for you to complete the move. But yeah, it's not really like a track. I would say that it's normally used with F1 cars, but I've raced here with other types of car in the past, and it was really hard to overtake as well. It's really narrow.
Well, it was a fantastic victory. Alejandro, from my side, it was wonderful to see you back out on track again, because you are a star performer. Many congratulations to you for the win.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me as well to be back finally, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully in the same spot.
Well, yes. And let's take a look here at Lorenzo Hayder right at the start of the race, and more importantly, the Roger Marte, as he anticipated the lights and really rather anticipated them too well. Such a shame for Roger Marte. Now, this was Besnik Mertetzi, and this in the opening laps as well. And as you can see, just 3, 4, 5, 6 cars getting involved in that. Let's see it from an on-board perspective. Well, you can see there, just catching the rear wheel of the car sends the car in front into a spin. And then, of course, you've got all the traffic coming at you as well. The podium is confirmed. Alejandro Sanchez, P1. Mark Gassner, P2. Lorenzo Hayder, P3. Brilliant racing to all our drivers, not only the top 3, but to all our drivers, really bringing us first-class race entertainment. And Lorenzo Hayder sprints to the P3 spot in our lounge. And there is presented with his trophy. Many congratulations to Lorenzo Hayder. Yes, he always celebrates and celebrates really well. Up from the Challenger League into the Racer League. And he takes a fantastic P3 place. Well done to Lorenzo Hayder. Mark Gassner receives his trophy. And the applause as well. And well done. And well done to all our staff at all our racing lounges as well, who are just as enthused as we are. And right now in Madrid, Alejandro Sanchez stands by to receive yet another race winner's trophy. I have to say, I love talking to Alejandro because he was so humble and says, you know, he did everything he could and he was really glad to be back. So confirmed results of Challenge 5 from Brands Hatch. Alejandro Sanchez, despite picking up a penalty, takes the win ahead of Mark Gassner and Lorenzo Hayder. They are P2 and P3. Mikel Smeedel, unusually, not on the podium, P4. And Fabio Vettica and Sebastian Hirsch round out the top 10. Ahead of Lars Baumeiler. Roger Marte, who of course jumped the start and picks up P12. Then Kevin Abey, P17. Javier Loro, P20 with another penalty. And David Ladamada and Besnik Mertetzi rounding out the 22 drivers from our race at Brands Hatch.
Hi, my name is Ralph Möller. I'm the Chief Fitness Officer of Racing Unleashed. For esports, sim racing, physical and mental fitness is important. 30 to 60 minutes of exercises per day are important for your success. Use your bike instead of your car, or just take a walk. There are no excuses. Running, cycling, swimming, or gym. Just keep it going. So get fit and fast with a Gladiator. Racing Unleashed. See you soon.
Welcome back to Racing Unleashed, here then for the second part of the programme. I'm Matthew Duffin, your host, and we'll be bringing you the race shortly. Let's take a look though at what happened in yesterday's Challenger League race. It's a long hold. It's green and go for race 7 here at Spa, and a great start from the front runners. Everybody in the midfield equally sort of packed out and bunched up, making sure they all get into turn 1 as safe and out of it as possible. Down the straight towards El Rouge we go, and this is a crucial corner. Cars just bouncing off the wall up El Rouge as they come through. That was a car sideways at the top of Radion, and who is that dropping down the order? That is Tobias Meyer on his debut, down to the back of the pack. Nico Forlan though out front has taken the lead of this race, and Zarzo's got himself up to P14. Pinto and Matias De La Rocha having a great battle, as well as Sylvain Proust here trying to make up some ground as that is a car off, and there's another one just gone off out the right hander, bouncing off the wall. It's Caponio and Klaus up front, who are side by side coming up to the bottom of El Rouge, and I tell you what, one of these guys have got to back out. Hayder just to lift off the throttle there to make sure he doesn't get caught up in these two squabbling. How they got up El Rouge, look at Joshua Hayder, the momentum he got through El Rouge, and he's trying to create a gap. He now makes it 3 wide coming down the Kemmel straight towards Lecombe, and here comes Joshua Hayder, might just get the 1 place of Tyler Klaus, and he does so, and that was a great move. He's been tapped around and manages to hang on to it though. Who's got through? Believe Klaus, Herzog and Mikael Fry have all got past Joshua Hayder there. This is Ruiz Oscar, your pole sitter. Look at the difference in speed, the drag that he got, the slipstream that he got down the Kemmel straight, and Georgiev is a passenger to Ruiz Oscar then, who flies past, and a wiggle from Valentin Georgiev there, sees him bounce off the curb into the side of Ruiz Oscar, and David Seed now, the launch up the top of Eau Rouge and Radion in that slipstream, a 10th and a half. He's already committed to the inside, and Forland is helpless to anything here. And David Seed, look at though, Forland's coming back at him then. David Seed reached the top speed and Forland comes back at him, but he's on the wrong side. Let's try and see if any driver's brave enough to do what Mark Webber did to Alonso a couple of years back at Eau Rouge. See if anybody's brave enough to go around the outside of that into Eau Rouge. Fabian Mayer wasn't, but he'll just get that run, and look at that. I tell you what though, by the time his car reaches the top speed, Royster's going to be coming back at him at Les Combes, and he's the wrong side of him. You need to be doing what David Seed did, and that's getting to the right hand side of the car after Radion, because look, Royster there just taps the back of Mayer and round he goes. Here he is with his entourage in the background. Valverde going around the outside at the little left-hand bend and up the inside into the bus stop chicane. And thank you, Mama, for the carrots, he says. Job done. He's going to come back at Valverde here, down the Kemmel straight. We say, though, I said a moment ago, you want to be on the right-hand side. He can't come across to close the door, and Valverde will just keep the nose in, and they give each other great respect there from the pair of them. And De Murbas gets the place back. Fantastic driving from him up into P4, and great respect. Great racing from these two. David Seed, though, is going to be your race winner. Barely a reaction from the young man. So David Seed, your race winner here at Racing Unleashed for the Challenger League, and he is the race winner today, and he's going to collect his medal. And Nico Farland gets his second place medal, and a job well done from him. And here then, Ciro Zambra, P3. Your final classifications then. David Seed from Nico Farland and Ciro Zambra. Sinan de Murbas and Valverde keep their top 5, and the top 10 stays the same. Into the second half of the page, and a penalty for Tiziano Caponio drops into 11th. Valentin Georgiev and Sven Kusnel down with penalties as well. And bringing up the rear, Astrid Vollenweider and Sylvain Pruss with a penalty to his name. The Challenger standings look like this. David Seed, Sinan de Murbas and Ciro Zambra, 20 points separate them, with Nico Farland in contention. And underneath the top 10, we have Thomas Herzog and Andre Kiefer on 21 points, and Joshua Hayden moves up to 18th place with 7 points. Bringing up the rear at the bottom of the table, Ronnie Heitinger on 4. And that is what happened yesterday then in the Challenger League, and what great action it was. And I'm sure we're going to be in for much more of that this afternoon. We're going to bring you now the classified grid for what will be the starting order for the race this afternoon. Alejandro Sanchez, penalty picked up for him, meaning that he has dropped down to P4, you see there, giving Yannick Vonnenberg the P1, and we'll be speaking with him a little later on. Roger Martland will be P2, Ivan Koofman on the second row of the grid in third place. Alejandro Sanchez, penalty from race control, down to 4th. Javier Loro in P5. P6 is Kevin Abi. Devin Iskro from Mikkel Schmiedel in 8th. Lars Bullman 9th, and Fabio Vertinger P10. 11th place then goes the way of Mark Gasner with Angelo Mikel in P12. P13 is Christoph Holstein. Wojciech Plezny in 14th place, with Florian Haas in 15th. David Ladamada down in 16th place. Loris Mistretta in 17th. Jean Tufen 18th. 19th place, Enrique Marino. And let's go racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
Hold on to your hats. We are on the grid. Who is going to be king of the late breakers? Excellent onboard shot. Michael Schmiedel is throwing absolutely everything at this, including the kitchen sink. Look at this. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Disaster strikes.
Unglaublich.
Wow, qué pelea.
I'm loving this.
Take your hat off and give him a bow. He's already in the lead, and now he can sail off into the sunset.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Hello everyone. Really sorry I can't be with you this weekend because still traveling from the USA back to Europe. However, whether you are a Racer League driver or a Challenger League driver, I just wanted to check in and wish you the best of luck for racing this weekend. And my buddy Matthew Duffin, he's going to be calling all the action. Be good.
And we're on the grid then with P19 Enrique Marino, who we hopefully are going to get a word from in just a moment. He doesn't seem to have his headset on though here, so I'm not sure if this one's going to be possible. P19 though for Enrique Marino as he's preparing for his race coming up from the back of the pack. What can he do from there? P18 then is Jan Tufen in Zurich, looking like he's ready to go. And Loris Mistretta, 17th place. He was a man who looked a bit disappointed earlier on in the qualifying session. A bit more of a smile from him now. 16th place on the grid then goes the way of David Ladamada here in Kemptol. And in Munich, Florian Haas then will start in 15th place. What can these two do from the back part of the grid? P14 lineup is Wojciech Plezny then, and he's having a bit of a stretch of the arms ready to go. And there is Christoph Holstein in P13. And we can speak with Christoph now. And Christoph, what are you expecting to do in this race?
Gain as many positions as possible, I guess.
Where are you looking to finish overall? Have you got a goal?
It's always unpredictable to say what's going to happen. I don't really know. I just want to get some points. Top 5 would be amazing, but it's going to be difficult. So I'll take points, try not to crash. That's it.
Well, best of luck for the race.
Thank you.
Lining up in position number 12 then is Angelo Michel in Munich, and Mark Gasner then as well, his Munich compatriot alongside him. As a wave there from Angelo Michel and a smile from him as well. They're getting ready. Top 10 though, Fabio Vertiger in Zurich, he's ready to go, and Lars Bulmer in 9th place as well. What happened to his pace in the knockout qualifying? Can he keep it going? And there's the man sorting his gloves out, P8 on the grid at the moment, and we can get a word with Schmiedl now. How's the nerves? Are you looking forward to this race?
Well, to be honest, there is no pressure on my side because I am not the one who needs to catch up in the championship. So it is like one of those first of 4 match balls for me in the championship. So yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the race and see how it goes. It doesn't really matter for me if I secure the championship today or in the next race.
Well, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And we've got Devin Eastgrow lining up alongside him in P7. The top 6 then looks a little bit like this. Kevin Abbey in Zurich, he will line up in P6, and Javier Loro, the 2 red cockpits alongside each other. Madrid for Loro in P5. P4 is Alejandro Sanchez, was our pole sitter. He's down to P4, and Alejandro, we spoke earlier, pole position it was, but a penalty's put you back onto the second row.
Yeah, I didn't like pole position that much. So yeah, we'll try to do our best and stay out of trouble and try to move forward.
Well, best of luck in the race.
Thank you.
Ivan Kaufman in P3 ready to go as well. And the front row looks a little like this. Roger Mort, eyes closed, not asleep. He's focusing on what he's got to do. And Yannick Vonnenberg as well, fully focused on this race. Your new pole sitter then. Can he take a race win? Don't forget, he led majority of the knockout qualifying session here, so he's probably in the best position. Let's go to the fast facts now. And the fast facts here for Spa then in the Ardennes Forest. The Ardennes roller coaster at what is Spa-Francorchamps then. 7 kilometres in length, the longest circuit on the calendar. 10 left-handers and 9 to the right. 250 metres for Yannick Vonnenberg to start to get to turn 1. 100 metres in difference in the altitude. And El Rouge, the most famous corner in the whole world of motorsport. We come from the start line into 2021. We'll get to the corners in a moment. Javier Loro was the man who took the win, but there is this is the Racer League. Schmiedl on the right-hand side of your screen, and Dedit Schmiedl coming through them final corners, and he does what he does best, doesn't he? Came through to take the win. Fast facts then down to La Source. You go into turn 1, a heavy braking zone. A few people send it up the inside. You've got to be careful and make sure not to make any contact. Up El Rouge you go then, the most famous corner. How brave are you up here? How good a run can you get at the top of Radion to head down the Kemmel Straight and into Les Combes? Get on that right-hand side and make sure you can get the move done. Or are you brave enough to stick it around the outside without making contact? That is what these drivers face. Into the chicane we go now. And an all-important braking zone. Make some moves there, but make sure that exit is crucial as you head to turn 1. And Nico Rosberg back in his William days doing a blindfold track draw to see how good of Spa he remembers. There was a corner coming up there, Nico. As he come, there we go. We found a few more corners. He's going to come back on himself. There's a bend coming up. There's the bend. Join it together. Yeah. No. We'll just cross it over and finish. You can't complete a lap at Nico Rosberg's version of Spa. So that was your fast facts then here at Racing Unleashed, where we go beyond the pinnacle in 2022. The drivers are in their brilliant cockpits ready to get this race underway. We are waiting now for the red lights, and it will be go momentarily here then in Belgium. Every driver focused, fully awaiting the lights to come on. What thoughts though? What must be going through Alejandro Sanchez's head? A penalty demoting him to P4. He's now closer to Schmiedl. Schmiedl, very calm and confident, he said. He's not the one that's got to do the hard work. The lights though are coming on now. The revs start to rise. The red lights are on. They're being held a little bit. It's green and go then in the Racer League, and it's a great start from Alejandro Sanchez on the second row of the grid, who's already looking to make some moves into La Source. Around the outside he goes, 3 wide into there, and everybody through relatively cleanly. We've got a spinner in the background. Alejandro Sanchez now up to El Rouge. To the outside he goes, and he's going to look to try and attack. Roger Mort up into El Rouge, backs out of that one very sensibly, and now can try and slingshot his way through before Kevin Abbey can try and get past him. To the outside of Mort he goes, as Kaufman is attacking Vonnenberg up front. And look at this, a tap on the side of Sancho's car there, and now a tap on the back of Mort from Kevin Abbey, and there's a big incident then coming down the Kemmel Straight. Alejandro Sanchez manages to come away for P3, but look who's behind him. It's his title rival Michael Schmiedl. He's now attacking him once again, and this is an all too familiar sight for Sanchez. Schmiedl coming through the pack, and he's already nearly on the podium. 4 places he's gained already at the start. Gazner down to last place with Wojciech Polezny in 18th place then, and there is Schmiedl already. Probably can't believe his luck after El Rouge and Radion. Down into the middle sector of the track, right left chicane coming up, and he's all over the back of Sanchez. That was a wiggle though from Kaufman just in front of Sanchez, manages to hold it together, but there's just a queue of cars coming up now to behind Kaufman here, allowing Vonnenberg to just stretch his legs a little bit. Schmiedl though gonna have a look on Alejandro Sanchez. He's side by side as they come round into this little left hand bend. Flat out you come here. Schmiedl right around the outside. Will he brake later than Sanchez into this chicane? Loro can only watch on from the back, and Schmiedl on the brakes a bit earlier, and Sanchez turns in and taps the side of Schmiedl. Be careful on the rejoin, indeed he does, and stays ahead of Michael Schmiedl there. But you saw from the camera angle that Sanchez looked like he turned in a little bit. Schmiedl though, he does not look panicked, he does not look worried. It's only lap 1 of the race. We start lap 2, and on go Schmiedl now. Roger Mort making places back up. He's in 17th place on your timing screens then, and away he goes at this moment in time. Michael Schmiedl then, what can he do? Polezny's now up to 14th. Vettiger is up to 15th for David Ladamorda, gains another place. Here is Roger Mort, and look at these on El Rouge. A big snap! Huge into the wall on El Rouge. And it didn't work for Roger there, and that is a shame. He is well behind the pack now. Maybe a lift would have been necessary. He bounced off the curb, big snap into the wall, and Sanchez's rear wing. Look at that, Schmiedl and Loro in the background. He is hunting him down. Sanchez though is trying to hunt down Kaufman. He's trying to not be the hunted. He's trying to become the hunter, but can't do anything about it. Schmiedl, he's looking, and as we saw at Silverstone last time around, Schmiedl just had a look here and there and forced the other drivers into an error, and Sanchez has to be wise about this one today and make sure he realises what he's got to do in this task. He cannot afford a mistake here. Points over his rival will be absolutely massive for this man. Schmiedl, look at the run. He's already pulled out. He's looking to the outside line. And Sanchez here, you feel he's going to be helpless once again as they come to the chicane. It's exactly like lap 1. It's Schmiedl on the outside. And Kaufmann's attacking Vonnenberg for the race lead. But here comes Schmiedl on Alejandro Sanchez. Sanchez breaks lane again. This time gives Schmiedl a bit more room. And they get through the chicane perfect this time around. And it all stays as it is, apart from the fact that Kaufmann now leads this race over Vonnenberg. Here comes Schmiedl having another look, and I tell you what, Sanchez, he is a brave man at the moment, and he is a fighter, a warrior in this championship battle with this man behind him. Loro behind Schmiedl looking interested, but knows that it's a monumental task if you're to get past him. Up El Rouge come. Look at the launch Schmiedl got. Will he do what David C does yesterday? He tucks underneath now, and you feel that this run is going to be all important. Vonnenberg could be an absolute blinder, and look at this, side by side they split Vonnenberg into Lecombs, and Sanchez somehow keeps hold of it. Schmiedl tries around the outside, now up the inside, can't get it done, and has to tuck back in behind. Schumacher Hakkinen-esque there from these two, and what scenes we have here at Spa. Absolutely fantastic racing. Javier Loro now on the back of Vonnenberg. He's looking interested as well to make up another place. That though promotes Sanchez to P2. Schmiedl's on the podium yet again. He must have enjoyed that, as he's fully focused and concentrated on what he's doing at the minute. Vonnenberg just dropping back, and this allows Kaufmann out front to now come under pressure from Sanchez and Schmiedl. Elsewhere down the pack, Angelo Mikel's up to 7th place. Here is Alejandro Sanchez, and look, he's as cool as a cucumber. He doesn't look flustered from Schmiedl behind. He knows what he's got to do. He's absolutely on it, and he's got a bit of a breathing space to Schmiedl now after the battle they've just had. There's Loro and Vonnenberg battling it out in the background. You see there side by side as Schmiedel's coming round now. Loro, I think, has got past. Look at the closing speed of Schmiedl in the slipstream there. Just makes contact and backs out of it to let Alejandro Sanchez keep that place. And a great job from these two at the minute. Great respect being shown by both drivers. Kaufmann crosses the line and is still in the lead of this race. And what an epic scrap these are having. And Schmiedl did not fancy lunging up the inside there. He knows it's only lap 4 of a 17-lap race. Bit of a wiggle from both drivers there then as they come across to start lap 4 and towards El Rouge go now. Marinon up into P9 ahead of Christoph Holstein there then. And where is Roger Mort down in 19th still. He's 2.6 off the back of Haas. Here though comes Schmiedl. Angelo Mikel on the right hand side. Your screen making moves. And Schmiedl now, he's already reached top speed. Here comes Sanchez backing him round the outside of Lecombs. And Schmiedl now gets the move done. And did Sanchez there lose the car? I'm not sure. Mikel all over the curb and the rumble strips off the track. So I'm sure that'll just be looked at by race control. But Schmiedl then takes 2nd place and can hunt after Kaufmann now. He's already doing what he needs to do to win this championship today. And Sanchez, well, look at the gap to Schmiedl already. He has got past and he has pulled away. Sanchez is now looking at Loro in his rear view mirror and knows that he could come under pressure there. Sanchez has got to keep on it because Schmiedl, a man of very few mistakes, he needs to apply the pressure that has just been applied to him. Christoph Holstein there has Lars Bulmer going round the outside, sticks it back up the inside. Great racing from these two, and they're still together as they come into the right-hander. Now Holstein gets past Bulmer, and that job done for the final point scoring position here, and 10th place for Christoph Holstein at this moment in time. Here's Mistretta now having a look up the inside of Lars Bulmer and has got the move done. And also comes Pelesny, a bit of contact there from Bulmer. Has Bulmer got a problem with his simulator? I reckon he's just seemed very, very slow as Pelesny's dived up the inside of Mistretta there and gets himself 2 places in the matter of moments. And Pelesny As he just checks his mirror, he's now sitting comfortably in the points. Couple of cars just in front for him to catch as well, as they're all trying to break the toe. Vonnenberg has now got himself a battle with Angelo Mikel. Mikel's got past him, so what is... no, it's Sanchez who was keeping an eye on Mikel then, fighting with Vonnenberg to make his way up the order. Loro still on the back of Sanchez. Here is Pelesny with Christoph Holstein and Enrique Marino, and here comes Mistretta back at him. The slipstream though, and Pelesny just squeezing him, and Mistretta saying, oh, yeah, out of the way. Into Lecombs. Pelesny keeps hold of that place up the inside. Mistretta wisely backs out of that one and gives him the room that he needs here then. And there is Loris Mistretta, fully wanting to get back in this point scoring position. He's close to the points as well, only a second and a half away from the point scoring position. Devin Eastro then on the back of Kevin Abbey, and that was Vonnenberg then, who just seems to be starting to struggle all over the curb. A little wiggle on it, and Kevin Abbey then starting to put the pressure on. Talking of pressure, has Kaufman's nerves then, because this man is charging at the moment and he's right on the back of Kaufman. Sanchez sticking with him though, he's within a second, but you get the feeling that if Schmiedl gets past Ivan Kaufman here, it'll be game over. Pulls out now, he's going to go around the outside. Flat out, not a lift there from Schmiedl at all, fully committed to this. How late does he brake? Kaufman tries to outbrake him. Oh, Schmiedl! Bit of a rare mistake there. Touches the sausage curb. Manages, though, to hang on to it and get the move done. Just a bit of a glance on the rear wheel. Loses the back end. Hangs on to it. Job done. And for Ivan Kaufman now, he's always gone very deep at the source. And does that make Alejandro Sanchez a little interested? I think he's a bit too far back. And now, Schmiedl's been led off the hook. There is Sanchez starting to gap Javier Loro and get on the back of Ivan Kaufman. Needs to keep that pressure on Michael Schmiedl. He's pulled out to that left-hand side now. Here he comes. He's used that bit of a launch with the slipstream, but Kaufman should come back at him in top speed by the end of the Kemmel straight. Down they come into the chicane now. Sanchez, job done, and he's now on the back of his championship rival once again. Marinon's moved himself up ahead of David Iskro into 7th place. Roger Moore still some 4.9 seconds off the back of Florian Haas. Holstein's up to 7th. There's also a few other drivers making places. Yannick Vonnenberg's up to 9th. Pelesny's up to 10th. And Mistretta in 11th. Pelesny's now just got past Vonnenberg on the timing screens as well as Alejandro Sanchez now 0.5 of a second behind his championship rival, and has to apply the pressure that Schmiedl applied to him in this race. We're nearly approaching the halfway mark of this race as well, and Schmiedl, does he have more left in the tank to go the full distance and to make sure he can pull away from Sanchez? Right hand side of your screen you see Wojciech Pelesny putting pressure on Devin Iskro now to make a move. Left hand side is the two leaders still battling it out, and here is Pelesny now trying to get closer, and he's got the whole straight here to try and use that slipstream, that draft, slingshot himself past by the time he gets to the chicane, but he's just getting closer ever so little. It's not enough at the moment for Pelesny. By the time they hit the brakes then, as Marinon's got past Vonnenberg just tumbling down the order. Schmiedl pumps in the fastest lap of a 47.410, so an absolutely blistering lap from him there. And Pelesny still cannot do anything about Devin Iskro at this moment in time. Back on board Alejandro Sanchez then. Up over El Rouge they come. He'll start to feel a bit of benefits from that slipstream now. The hole being punched in the air by Michael Schmiedl's car, as this is Christoph Holstein getting himself past Kevin Abbey then. And into P6 he goes. He's got some 4.5 seconds before he can catch Holstein. There is Kevin on the back, trying to get that move back done over Holstein then. Bit of a queue there. Look, you see that is Iskro and Pelesny in the background. Mistretta not far off the back of Pelesny though, as he's outbraked himself. You saw there in the background did Wojciech Pelesny. Just went a little deep. Sanchez still within half a second of Schmiedl in what has been a dominant season from your current race leader. Mistretta and Marinon have both got past Pelesny, so has he made a mistake somewhere then? Because he's now down into P11, back into P10 it says though, so he's obviously made another place back up there then. So great battles going on up and down the pack here in the Ardennes Forest. As here is Mark Gasner down in 16th place. He's on the back of Fabio Vettiger. And he's got Jan Teufen on the back of him as well, with Florian Haas, who's right. In fact, he's not. He's past Teufen now. Mistretta gets past Kevin Abbey. So place is changing. Schmiedel once again fastest lap of the race. Sanchez though sticking to him, still down at half a second. It's just dropped under half a second now. So Alejandro Sanchez then, he's coming back at Michael Schmiedel now as we enter pretty much halfway in this race. Alejandro Sanchez hasn't given up on this quest yet of taking this championship. Roger Mart 4.6 seconds, and after starting on the front row of the grid as Gasner's got himself past Haas. So that is a move done there. We didn't see that one, but nonetheless, job done still. For Roger Mart, what could have been for him today. Look at this battle though. Gasner, Vettinger and Haas. Side by side is Gasner and Vettinger. Into Les Combs they go. And Haas thinks, I'll try around the outside. That's not going to work, says Vettinger. Back comes the door shut. And down the hill once again. There you go on the 8th lap. Alejandro Sanchez's gap has just increased a little bit. As Loro is no longer on the back of the race leaders. He's some 3 seconds. Wow, that's a lot of curb from Fabio Vettiger there, and that could really hurt him in terms of Haas getting on the back, but he's not close enough. Teufen though, oh, that's a line, that's very wide there, and unfortunate that. You will not want to gain time with track limits, that is for sure. Roger Mart 3.5 seconds, slowly making some inroads here. Wojciech Plezny then, nice and relaxed. He can see 2 cars in front of him. More places, more points. P9 at the moment is Wojciech Plezny. So he's just inside the points, but he'll want a few more nonetheless. And is he going to think of sending one? No. Cars in front though, both locking up, and that could compromise their run through the chicane. And Wojciech Plezny definitely found a little bit of time there coming through the chicane, and has definitely made a chance to have a look. He's pulled out now and shows his nose to David Iskro then. And say, hello, knocking on your door here as Marinon and Gasner's dropped down the standings. In fact, Gasner has now been overtaken by Roger Mart. So Gasner must have had a big off because Mart was some 4 seconds behind the rest of the pack. He's now only 2.9 off the back of Teufen then. So what has happened there? Marinon's back ahead of Vertiger. And this is Plezny trying to get past Devin Iskro. And I think he did do it there. There is Mark Gasner then. Yes, he did. Plezny did get past Iskro. So, job done, P8. He now heads after Mistretta. It's a big gap then to Holstein, so he'll want to get this done sooner rather than later to be able to try and chase down P6. But 8th place, more points in the bag for Wojciech Plezny at this moment in time. Here is Jan Teufen then, looking up the inside of the car in front, who is very wide in front of him. And all over the place as Jan tries to keep it going. That was Enrique Marino. This is Fabio Vettiger then behind the pair of them. He's got Roger Mart hunting him down. 1.7 seconds is the gap now. So Roger Mart really coming here at the back of this pack. Alejandro Sanchez still 0.6 of a second off the back of Schmiedel. Can't do anything about it. There is Fabio Vettiger in Zurich. Back then to Devin Iskro, half a second off the back as the leaders cross the line. Sanchez 10th quicker on the last lap, and I tell you what, Javier Loro was quicker than the pair of them on the last lap. The top three all in the 47s, and then the time drops away until you get to Holstein, who is matching the pace of Schmiedel at this moment in time. So that could be good if he's to catch Mikel in front. Here is Alejandro Sanchez, who just found a couple of hundredths at the moment. Gap down to 0.6 of a second. He'll just get the benefits of a bit of slipstream now. And will slowly pull in that bright purple car of Mikel Schmiedel. As the two leaders then have just absolutely left the rest of the pack in their dust here, and they are fully determined. Look at the concentration Sanchez's face. 110%, you can guarantee that he's giving it in that cockpit. And he knows that he'll want to be putting up as good a fight as he can. There's Lars Bulmer then, down in 12th place. has got Vonnenberg just in front of him, and Bulmer in the knockout qualifying session, his pace just seemed to drop off at the end, and he's got Vonnenberg now just in front of him. And Vonnenberg led this race, let's not forget, early on, and has just dropped down the standings here at the moment, just gone backwards so far for Lars. A sniff of a P11 maybe, an opportunity to get an extra place, with David Ladamada and Florian Haas just behind the both of them. Angelo Mikel, P5, gaining on the back of Kaufman then. It's going to take a lot for this man to gain on the podium place of Javier Loro. Bit of a mistake there from Kaufman out the chicane, bit of a wiggle, and that's allowed Angelo Mikel the opportunity. Here comes Lars Bulmer round the outside of the chicane on Vonnenberg. Vonnenberg locked up there, and Lars just trying to get the better run. And Vonnenberg's pulled to the left-hand side very, very early. He's had a poor run through the chicane. And look at Lars Bulmer here. Send one up the inside. Not just, but forces Vonnenberg to miss his apex there. And Lars Bulmer now really putting Vonnenberg under some pressure. Let's stay with this. Let's see this up Eau Rouge. Let's listen. Does he have a lift? Slight dab of the brake just as he comes to the bottom of Eau Rouge and Radion, and that then doesn't really compromise his run as he flicks it right at the last moment and now pulls out to have a look. They're both going to reach top speed. Vonnenberg trying to close Bulmer to the grass, but he's got to leave him a car's width on the outside. He does so, and how late did Lars Bulmer brake there, and somehow manages to make the position stick. Great move. Vonnenberg's down to P12. He's going to have David Ladamada on the back of him as well, as David Ladamada's trying to make up a place or two. Well, I think David Ladamada's just had a mistake. He's dropped down behind Haas and Marinon now, so it's now Florian Haas that can have the chance to attack the back of Vonnenberg. Now Alejandro Sanchez. Does that purple car of Schmiedel look a little bit closer, I wonder? Is he going to have a look towards the chicane, try and brake later? It's a few hundredths closer. It's about a tenth closer than it was when he was last time on board him. Half a second just over for Sanchez to Schmiedel in this race, and it's half a second from that championship being decided as well in this race. Schmiedel, great exit from the chicane. The gap though stays the same. Sanchez this lap 2/10 quicker. He is really coming then on the back of Michael Schmiedel in this race. Javier Loro matching the pace of the leaders, just not able to stick with him. Kevin Abiz up into P9 ahead of Devin Iskro then. And what has happened to Roger Marks? He's dropped back down to 19th place. Here's Enrique Marino on the right hand side of your screen, makes a move on Florian Haas then at the chicane. Vonnenberg just up in front of him now to try and overtake. He was some 2 seconds quicker than Vonnenberg last lap around. Sanchez definitely getting closer to Schmiedel now then. Where is Schmiedel stronger than Sanchez? Where is Sanchez stronger than Schmiedel? Ebbing and flowing from these two at the moment in terms of the time. Schmiedel did the hard work and got past, and Sanchez has just kind of stayed at half a second, 0.6 of a second to the back. Gasner's got himself past Vertinger. Here's Angelo Mikel now on the right hand side of your screen. On the back now of Ivan Koufman, this for P4. It's going to be a big ask for Mikel to get on the podium as we go to that battle now then. 0.4 of a second. Vonnenberg, P12, has Haas on the back of him and he's trying to catch on the back of Lars Bulmer still. This man started P1 after a penalty to Alejandro Sanchez and has dropped down the order to P12 at the moment. As Ladamada and Tufan there and Gasner have all found their way past Enrique Marinon. So has Marinon had a problem somewhere? Because he's dropped to the back of the pack now, so he must have had a problem, because Vertinger and Roger Mart have now got past as well. And Marinon down in 19th place. Let's take a look at a few replays then of what's happened in this race. Here's the start of Kevin Abiy then, and down towards the source. A great launch you saw there from Alejandro Sanchez, and on the brakes round the outside. And look, all cleanly, a bit of a collision in the background. That was Fabio Vertiger sort of playing pinball with the two cars in the background. Kevin Abiy bouncing off the yellow car of Alejandro Sanchez, and then that's when I think Roger Mart got the big whack up the rear of his Formula X 2022 hybrid car. And then more chaos further down the pack. Here's Fabio Vertiger just tapping the red car in front round, and that move was never really on. Schmiedel and Alejandro Sanchez. Here's Wojciech Paleźny up the inside. Good move from Pelesny there. This is an overhead look at it, so let's have a look. Yeah, not a bad move. Car on the outside, didn't see him come in and maybe should have backed out of that one. Gazna then. Look at this, trying to squeeze up the inside as we go back to the action. Kevin Abbey. P10 on the back of Devin Eastgrove for some more points. Roger Mort has been overtaken by Enrique Marino, so it just hasn't gone right for the man who started on the front row of the grid. So Abbey now on the back of Eastgrove. Can he find himself a couple more points in this race at the moment? Here is Florian Haas. I do believe that's Vonnenberg behind him, so he's got himself past Vonnenberg. Yes, he has, and that is Lars Bulmer. So for Haas here, a chance at P11. He's 3.2 off the back of the points and running out of laps. It's a big ask for him to do that. Sanchez has got the gap down to under half a second here, so he's coming at Schmiedl once again. Quicker last lap. So Sanchez trying to keep that pressure on, and he's running out of time. Lap 14 to 17, he's got to get it done sooner rather than later. Yannick Vonnenberg under pressure from David Lademada and Jan Tufen. As look at Lars Bulmer and Haas going side by side towards the chicane they come now. And does Bulmer keep hold of that position? We'll see as they come through. No! Haas takes 11th place away from Lars Bulmer there then, and Yannick Vonnenberg got bird's eye view of that. This battle though, Sanchez, if he needs to get close enough to make a move, he's got to do that now. 4/10, under 4/10 of a second. He's charging here. He's made sure he saved some power in the tank, and he's now at 120% and exploiting every advantage of this car and making sure he can extract every inch of perfection out of it. Still fully determined and focused, just bouncing off the curbs there. That may have lost him a little bit of time to Schmiedl, but he is as close as ever. Gap gone back up to 7/10. Schmiedl had a fantastic middle sector over Sanchez. Was that due to him bouncing off the curb? Here is Schmiedl then. Kind of a grin on his face there as he's driving a little bit, or is that him just fully focused? Deep breaths from Schmiedl as well, making sure that he knows what he's doing. 0.8 of a second that gap's gone up to, so somewhere in the middle sector Sanchez has lost nearly half a second to Schmiedl, and all that hard work he's just done to set him back up has now gone. Devin Eastgrove's lost out to Kevin Abbey, trying to fight back for P9 and 10 this is then, with Haas in the background 2.9 behind. He's not a million miles away and still plenty of time in this race to get something out of it. Sanchez there, look, lost nearly a second to Schmiedl on the last lap. So what has happened to Alejandro Sanchez? He's 1.4 behind Schmiedl now. He's definitely made a mistake at the chicane, because he was only 0.8 of a second behind coming up towards it. So what has happened to Alejandro Sanchez at the chicane? Is that game over with 3 laps to go? Well, only time will tell, and you've got to keep the pressure on, and this is where Schmiedl has won this, has won many fights this season. He's just outdone the other drivers in the lesser mistakes made. Holstein's got himself past Kaufman. That is for P5 and 6. And that is another set of points for Christoph Holstein there then. Here comes Devin Eastgrove using that slipstream over Kevin Abbey to try and make up some more places. And he's dragging him in. Will it be enough by the time they get to the comms braking zone? He's going to have a look and brakes earlier. Thinks better of it. Mark Gasner's got him sent ahead of Tufen. A bit of a wiggle there for Eastgrove. Holds on to it beautifully. On board with him in the Camptol Racing Lounge then. And he's just doing everything he needs to do to try and get that 9th place back. A little wide though there, David Lademada. Now he on the back of Yannick Vonnenberg. And Yannick Vonnenberg trying to come back at Lars Bulmer here then. So we'll have to see if they can make up any more places throughout this race. One of the closest battles on the grid here is David Lademada, here in Munich, in Kemptal as well. Bit of traffic in front, bit of traffic behind. He's kind of in the middle of a couple of cars here and could make a few places, could also lose a few places. Back to Devin Eastgrove. As lap 60 in the race leaders start, and Schmiedl's extended his gap 0.2 extra, so it's 1.6 out now. Devin Eastro just locking up into the chicane, manages to get it stopped and turn through. He was bang on. Oh, look at that, 2 thousandths of a second separated Kevin Abbey and Devin Eastro on the last lap. There is a lock up there from the red Formula Evo hybrid car into La Source, and making Devin Eastro just a bit closer and able to be in that slipstream a little bit more as they come up through Radion now. Look at the closing speed from behind. He goes to that outside line, and that isn't the line to be taken. He's going to get past here at the moment, but Kevin Abbey will come back at him by the end of the Kemmel straight. Eastro round the outside. Job done, easy as you like. Great manoeuvre then from Devin Eastro back into 9th place. David Latimarda's got himself past Lars Bulmer in the background as well. So that is another position for him gained. Kevin Abbey then down in 10th. Can he come back at Devin Eastro? 1.5 laps to do so. And for Kevin Abbey then, it's all about getting in that slipstream and staying there. There is David Latimarda. Him and Yannick Vonnenberg have both got past Lars Bulmer. So Lars Bulmer's pace just starting to drop off again here, like it did in the knockout qualifying towards the very end. Interesting to see. Teufen on the back of Lars Bulmer, and that then is something that he might want to do. But this man starts the final lap of this race. He's been caught by Sanchez a little bit, but the gap still 1.4. It's going to take something magical from Alejandro Sanchez to take this race win away from Schmiedl. Did the hard work in the knockout qualifying, made 4 places on the opening lap, did the rest over the course of the race, and then since he's got past this man, he hasn't need to look behind him once. And what must be going through this man's mind? He had pole position took away from him, and then he lost out to Schmiedl. Here is David Latimarda getting closer to the back of Yannick Vonnenberg then as they just start the final lap of the race as well. Vertiger's on the back of Enrique Marino. Gasner and Bulmer trying to get past each other, as well as Jean Teufen. And for Latimarda, can he make up an extra place, get himself a top 12 finish? What about Kevin Abbey? He's dropped to a second behind Devin Eastro now, so Eastro looks like he's got that one on. A bit of weaving down the Kemmel straight. And through nicely. It's going to take a lot of work for Latimarda to get this one. But the final part of the lap, flat scat from Michael Schmiedl here. And you have to say, it's been a champion's drive nonetheless. It's been absolutely fantastic all season from this man, and he's played it so clever. He knows when to attack and when to defend. He knows when to not make the moves. But Michael Schmiedl here, he's going to win at Spa, and he's going to win the Racer League Championship here at Racing Unleashed. Alejandro Sanchez across the line for a P2. Great fight from the pair of them. And he can see the joy on his face. Javier Loro P3, Angelo Miquel P4 from him, and Sanchez there, headset off. What could have been maybe Devin Eastro is good. Oh, gets it all sideways out the final chicane, but he's far enough ahead that he manages to hang on to that as Kevin Abbey holds off from Haas for the final point scoring position. Holstein crossed the line for 5th. There is Javier Loro, your 3rd place man. Obviously all results are provisional, and we will get a confirmation on the final result, but at the minute as it stands, Schmiedl is your champion. There is Mark Gasner, 15th place for him. Lars Bulmer 16th. I don't know if that's because he's pulled up. We will find out the classification at the end. But there is Schmiedl with behind Sanchez, and I think he just wants to. These two are still racing, I think. I don't know if he's trying to go alongside to say thank you, or if they're still having a battle. The checkered flag has flown, boys. You can relax now. You can breathe now. But Michael Schmiedl, what an absolute demon drive that was. And he is your Racer League champion with 3 races still to come in the calendar. Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya next in September. And how do you feel for this man? Not really been in the championship fight, but he's had to, he was in a fight today He was in a fight today and he just couldn't deliver the final blows to Smeedle. It was Smeedle who got the knockout punch in the end for the championship. Javier Loro, he'll be a happy man. A P3 for him, a pretty quiet race for him. He got into P3 and didn't really have to do much more than that, to be fair. A very quiet race on his side of the cockpit. And there we see in Munich, again, lovely tributes in the background to Sebastian Hirsch, who I'm sure would have loved to have been out there today. And everybody preparing to just pull into the pit lane and for one more time get out their cockpits to take some refreshments and get some fluids on board. Probably none more than Mikel Schmiedl. You see at the bottom part of your screen there is Angelo Mikel. And there he is then. He's looking at it, he's parked himself right next to the podium. He must have knew it was going to happen today. He's parked himself right next to the podium. Out he gets with our Racing Unleashed colleagues. Slip the shoes on. Hey, racers with no shoes on. Right, there's the secret, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You want to be a shoe champion? Do your fit and fast exercises and race in your socks. As he's taking a walk down the lounge, a high five with Angelo Mikel, a check on his phone, and probably stepping outside for a breath of fresh air. As I can see here in Kempthal, all our drivers are climbing out their cockpits. And I'm sure we'll reflect on what was an up and down race for a few drivers across all our racing lounges here. Kempthal, in Calm, Munich, Madrid. There we are in Kempthal. There's the 3 drivers here today. And I'm sure they'll be reflecting on what could have been or what was in that race. And a good conversation going on there, and I'm sure they'll have a debrief later with the Racing Unleashed people, and they'll make sure that anything needs looking at will be reported into Race Control, who are already as busy as bees down on the wall, making sure every decision is the correct decision. As Roger Mark then, couple of incidents, lost it at El Rouge himself. What could have been for him today. There back in Munich, you see everybody out the cockpits now, debriefs all around, chat with family and friends. There's Yannick Vonnenberg and Angelo Mikel closest to the camera, having a chat. And a thumbs up from our Racing Unleashed representative, and again as well in the background a lovely message to Sebastian Hirsch. Wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see you back in the racing lounges soon, my friend. That's what could have been for these drivers. We now have Javier Loro in the interview box with us. Javier, a pretty quiet race, but a good podium.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with it. Not a lot of battles. Easy start. In Les Coms was a huge one because I almost crashed into two guys that have spun out. But yeah, a really calm race and really happy with the result.
Got to be happy with that podium, like you said. Not really a lot to talk about for yourself today, was it? Talk us through that crash that happened. How close was it coming to you making contact?
I mean, in the start when they were going to take Les Coms, I mean, they were like in 4 wide, I think. So it was obvious that it was going to be a crash in some point.
Get through that, and the rest was history, wasn't it? P3, very well done, and we move on to Catalonia next time around for yourself. Hope to see you on the podium again.
Let's see. I hope to.
Best of luck. And that was Javier Loro then. P3 for him. And a very good job as everybody just taking a seat. I think Schmiedl's about to get back into his cockpit ready for an interview. And we can now speak with Alejandro Sanchez. And Alejandro, just not to be today.
Well, we'll see. They gave us some penalties in the qualifying for some stuff to happen. And I hope they are consistent this round with Schmiedl, since he pushed me off the track in lap 1. Of course, he has great pace and maybe he deserves to win, but things are things, and penalties should be given.
Yeah, you look like you had great pace out there yourself. You was matching it and quicker than Schmiedl at times. You just made one mistake towards the end that made that gap a little bit too big.
Yeah, I didn't want to get a restrictor penalty. I had 3 off tracks already, so I tried to give up some time to not improve the average of the race so far. So I just played it safe and just let him go, hoping that he will get a penalty.
A podium nonetheless. At the minute it is P2. You've got to still be happy with that. A few incidents that was very close to you early on in the race, and you managed to avoid them.
Yeah, I'm happy with the way I drove, of course. Maybe if I didn't make that mistake with the off tracks, it would have been better, but overall happy with my driving, of course.
Well done today, my friend, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And there we go then. Here's Devin Eastgrow. Oh, getting a bit the tail happy himself and just clipping the car next to him. Look, just on the curb, you see the back end sliding out, and as he goes to correct it, just taps the other car around. And then I tell you what, talk about squeezing through a tight gap. Enrique Marino now. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work, Enrique. And I'm sure Race Control will want to take a look at that one. Oh, hello. Yeah, that's a big one there, into the wall. Let's have a look from Fabio Vertiga. There's just a touch of wheels then that sent the red car flying, and wow, Fabio Vertiga there, how he missed that. And the man of the moment then, for the time being, Michael Schmiedl, race winner, Racer League champion, and an absolute beast on the track. Look at the joys there on his face. What a great drive from Michael Schmiedl today in this one. He enjoyed that one for sure. Absolute great scenes. And in Munich for him, and I'm sure every driver and representative there are very happy to see that their racing lounge has won effectively. You know, it's not a battle of the lounges, but in terms of everything else, it is. This is a provisional podium then, Michael Schmiedl. Your race winner from Alejandro Sanchez, Javier Loro, P3. But this is a provisional podium. We heard it from Alejandro Sanchez himself, that he hopes the Race Control are consistent, so we will have to see on what they decide, and they are very busy people already. But that is the way your top 3 looks then at the moment. It could all change, but as it stands, the man in the middle is your champion. There is our 3 stewards, race directors if you will, and I would not want to be in their shoes at the moment. A championship decision on the table here, and they have got some decisions to make, that is for sure. They're in Munich. A thumbs up, a peace from everybody in Munich there. What a delightful sign to see. As everybody just having a look on their phones and playing at the moment. And we can now confirm that the top 3 is the final result. And this man on your screen now is the Racer League champion. And what a moment that must be.
Well, obviously, first of all, thank you. It feels obviously great. I mean, I was kind of worried after I think it was lap 2 or 3 when I had a touch with Alejandro Sanchez that I'm going to be given a penalty, but I gave him the place back and also left a few car lengths there, so I wouldn't overtake him on the next straight, which would be unfair. So if it's confirmed, I can now celebrate, I guess.
Yeah, that is confirmed. You are the champion. Well done. Talk us through today's race, because it was a very good race from yourself, very patient, and then you did the job when you needed to.
Well, obviously the knockout didn't went that well because I was losing so much time behind the others, so the other quick drivers could actually make up a few places more compared to me. So that was a little bit depressing, I would say, after the knockout. But I knew that I had a pace, so I was just waiting for the opportunities, and it was again worth it. I mean, I wasn't that aggressive, but on the other hand, I wasn't even that nice to people as well, so it was kind of a balance, I would say. So yeah, it was enough, and I'm happy that I secured the championship on my favorite track.
Talk us through the season, because it's been a fantastic season from yourself, by you. You've really drove brilliantly this season. to wrap it up 3 races from the end is fantastic.
Well, to be honest, in general, this whole year has been really nice to me. I would say it has been brilliant season right up till this moment. And but there are still like 3 races remaining, and I want to be on the top in those last ones as well, and also in the Battle for Glory race. So the work never stops, I guess.
Look, that's brilliant to hear. I cannot wait to see what you do at Catalonia next month. Congratulations on the race win. Congratulations on the championship, my friend.
Thank you very much, and say hello to Dave from me.
Definitely will do. Thank you very much, and a very happy Mikko Schmiedl then. Champion and race winner here in the Racer League. And that then is a final result. And that is job done for Mikko Schmiedl then. And what a job that is. A fantastic race, a fantastic season, a very, very happy man. And he'll take that number 1 step this week yet again. And he'll be number 1 in the champion. That will not change for him as he re-puts the shoes back on. So there you go, once again. Bright green yellow gloves, no shoes, and a lot of fit and fast exercises. I don't think he can quite believe it. It's not sunk in for him yet, I don't think, by that expression there. Oh, what a season, what a race it's been. And yeah, fantastic to see. Fantastic to see. If you've been a part of Racing Unleashed throughout this whole season, you'd have seen this man dominate. He's had a few moments where he's not been on the podium, such as Brands Hatch, but he's been fantastic elsewhere. I've had the privilege commentating on him at Mugello and today, and it's been fantastic to watch and see him race. He has been by far a cut above the rest, you could say, in the Racer League here this season. Absolutely fantastic stuff from him. So then, we're getting ready for the podium, and here comes Javier Loro then to step into the podium for himself, and that, it'll be a fantastic P3 for him, and a job well done. The minute he gets his trophy given to him, where is it? There it is, there we go, and a P3 for him, a round of applause, and a very, very happy man. I'm sure that'll go on the mantelpiece at home with a place of pride. As we head to... Thank you there, Javier. As we head then, and stay in Madrid for Alejandro Sanchez. And we heard in his interview he was hoping the race control was going to be consistent. I'm taking it he's not going to be very happy with the result. But either way, still can be happy with a P2 and his performance today, because he's had a very good performance in the knockout qualifying and in the race. And I'm sure, or I hope, we expect to see him on the podium in just a moment. Here he comes now. There he is, look. Discontent with second in the championship. Happy though with second place. A number 1 there. Oh, is that suggesting that he maybe should have won the race from him in his point of view? Either way, second place, he'll be happy with that. And again, a lovely podium setting there to Sebastian Hirsch as well, and a high five, a hug, and the trophy. And Schmiedl is number 1 in the Racer League Championship, not just for the race today, but for the championship as well. And that confirms the prize money of the 15,000 Swiss francs in his back pocket at the end of the season. And what a touching tribute that is as well to Sebastian in the background, and I'm sure he'd dedicate that win to him. And hopefully we have Sebastian back in our racing lounges soon. Speedy recovery, my friend. We hope to see you back on the track and in our racing lounges as soon as possible. What an epic weekend then here at Racing Unleashed. Challenger League and Racer League, tick them off your list, because Spa is done, and we head next to Catalonia next time around in September, the 24th and the 25th. If you want to be a part of that, you can go to the Racing Unleashed website, apply to qualify, and then come to one of our racing lounges in Madrid, Calm, Munich, Zurich or Kemptthal. If you qualify, you'll be in the Challenger League on the 24th of September. The Racer League boys will be back on the 25th. 25th, and I'll be super pleased to be able to tell you that I'm bringing you the action for that one next time around. Cannot wait to get that one underway at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. From all of us here, though, at Racing Unleashed, so until next time, goodbye.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
Hold on to your hats. We are on the grid. Who is going to be king of the late breakers? Excellent onboard shot. Michael Spiegel is throwing absolutely everything at this, including the kitchen sink. Look at this. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Disaster strikes.
Unglaublich.
Wow, qué pelea.
I'm loving this.
Take your hat off and give him a bow. He's already in the lead, and now he can sail off into the sunset.
This is Racing Unleashed.